Hello, love wrestling. It's Thursday night. It's 8 p.m. And you know what that means. It's another new episode of Between Two Beards.
Can we start off with the biggest news of the week? The Rats lost! But every night I make a new best friend, and the only problem is we like having a good time. Forget yourself now. If you've got the budget, I've got the time.
There he is.
Hey, boss!
There's the boss.
Hey!
The man with the finest beard on this screen.
Canadian men, boys, shut the hell up. Let me talk.
You see, the Rads are resourceful. When I got beef with somebody, I can find a way to talk to them.
Listen between two beers.
Getting down.
Hello, love wrestling. It is 8 p.m. It is Thursday night. And you all know what that means.
It's opening day, baby!
It is opening day, Pluggo. My team doesn't even start until we're done with this stuff tonight. I almost swore, but I was a good boy.
I was mad all day.
I've
been mad all day. The MLB needs to get their stuff together.
Okay.
How is it that I have the day off on opening day and there's not a single baseball game on an easily accessible network for me to enjoy? I don't get it.
Brother?
Sorry.
I was playing MLB The Show all day. And the whole time I was just complaining about how is it opening day of baseball? And there is no baseball on television for me to watch.
Check it out. I went to ESPN, nothing. Fox, nothing. Peacock, nothing. I went to Prime
Apple
Video,
TV
nothing. Apple TV,
week.
nothing. It's opening day. Remember back in the day, ESPN would start it at 11 and it'd go all night to the West Coast
all
games.
day. There'd be baseball tonight at 11 a.m. to 11
on
p.m.
ESPN 1, 2, 3, 4. What are you doing?
Any day on the baseball calendar, there should be baseball on TV for anybody to have a choice of watching multiple games. It's opening day. How is there no baseball on?
And the only network televised game that's going to be played on opening day on TV for my Cubs, but I wonder if it'll get blacked out in my area. MLB, you got a problem.
Get it together.
It's the opening day. It's the biggest day. Everybody gets
together.
So excited. I was yes.
Wonder why. And baseball is my favorite sport.
I fought my child for this.
Sport. You wonder why your sport is dying. Because it's your opening day and nobody can watch any of the games. You fools.
Now anyway. I see what you're saying. It's got MLB Network, but that's not like
you gotta pay for that shit, Scott.
Yeah.
You gotta pay for that.
I just was like, no, and I get it.
There should be baseball on regular channels for regular folk to be watching on opening day. There used to be 2 games on at 1, 2 games on at 4, 2 games on at 7, and a game on at 10 on opening day. ESPN, ESPN2, all of it.
Killed
Today,
it.
Not one game.
Nothing.
I sat there going, where can I watch baseball? Oh, nowhere. Anyway, dumb. Okay, with that being said.
I know. I thought Owen did. I was like, I need the TV. And then I was like, oh, wait. These 2 games got postponed. And the Orioles and Angels game wasn't available.
For cable nowadays, Scott. Come on. 2024. Cables for the birds.
Well, there's games on,
Cables
right?
for the birds.
The Rangers and Cubs are on ESPN right now, yes. My argument, and I think JPJ's argument, is there should have been games, should be a huge deal. Opening day in baseball should be like, we're going to give you a game everywhere. Not oh, you don't have, like, for me in my area, you don't have the marquee network and pay $200 a year just for Cubs games. Like, sorry, dude.
It's just unbelievable to me. I remember getting dismissed from school early when I was in my youth.
Anyway,
to go watching baseball.
I could do this. I planned on talking about this for the entirety of this show, but we had some very, very cool, very, very dope gentlemen hit us up literally, I think 5 minutes ago.
Yeah, right before the show was like,
and it was like, I want in if you want it. And I said, of course we want it. We always need our fill. The one, the only. Josh Robinson is here.
Who wants to be filled up by me?
Totally filled.
Totally filled. Let me tell you.
It won't take very long.
Josh, you're a big AFL fan, right? Down in your part of the world.
Yeah, bitch. Yeah.
On opening day, do they not show any of the games on television?
Yeah, it seems pretty stupid. I don't know anything about baseball,
Well,
but I would assume that an opening day should have at least one of the games.
Here's asked if the Expos played today. If they did, no one saw it.
No. I can't wait till week 1 of the NFL season in September when they don't show any of the games on television. I can't wait for that to happen.
Just the
unbelievable.
Like,
unbelievable.
What baseball team should I be going for? I don't know anything about baseball.
We're gonna stink, but you know me. I'm gonna say the Boston Red Sox. But
I know the Boston Red Sox.
We're gonna stink though. We're gonna stink. It's gonna be a tough time.
I usually do side with JPJ just because he's always with me.
But he picked the Toronto Raptors in basketball.
They're not
people
doing
on his
so
team
great.
that are illegally gambling and gonna go to jail.
Yeah, but he also has Grady.
You know about that story? You been following that story?
I'm aware.
Oh, that guy. Could you not be more obvious?
He did it the dumbest way possible, but it was very smart.
Obvious?
Knowing you're not playing, going, well,
unbelievable. Like, can you not
go to jail?
Like, this guy he's a bench guy. He's not like he's an all right guy. He's an all right player, but he's not like one of the stars. Can you be more obvious with the way you're doing? Like, you're gonna go to jail, brother. You're going to jail. Wow, that is crazy. Anyway, I digress. My Celtics like to lose 30-point leads to the Atlanta Hawks. So that's kind of where we're at right now. Best team in the league, but you can't beat the Atlanta Hawks when you're up 30. Great. All right. So
my team has Dylan Brooks on it. So
your team's won like 10 games in a row because you got a really good coach who should be our coach, but he couldn't keep it in his pants when he was over here. And that's why he's not our coach anymore. Because the guy,
shouldn't be.
Hey, man, I get it.
Love listening to JPJ when he gets like.
This is my favorite JPJ. This is the only JPJ I want on this show.
I'm aware. Sometimes we'll just be streaming, and then all of a sudden it's just JPJ just goes off, and you'd know, Pluggo. You just let that shit happen.
I do, huh?
Yeah.
I had to upgrade our Twitter to Twitter Blue because of the Paul O'Neill rant from a few years ago because it was so long that I couldn't post it anywhere.
He's like one of those JPJ's one of those like wind up toys, and it eventually just runs out. And then wind up again.
All I know is I'm glad he's our coach, and it must have been the goods to give it all up to go coach in Houston. It must have been the goods.
Let me tell you. Look at
she must have been laying it down.
He's married to Nia Long. If you
I know that he must have given up.
Business needing to look elsewhere.
I know
he has no business needing to look elsewhere.
It must have been. It must have been the goods.
Maybe. I don't know, but that guy brought us to the championship our first year, and I am convinced that if he could have kept it in his pants, the Celtics would already have a championship. That's how good of a coach he is. And now he took your team, which the Houston Rockets before this year stink. They are one of the worst teams in the last decade.
What are they on a 10-game winning streak?
And they didn't make the playoffs.
We're still out of the playoffs.
You beat the Thunder last night. The Thunder are legit. That was a hell of a game. I watched the end of it. That was a hell of a game.
I watched that game yesterday too.
Yeah, that was a good game. I like the Thunder. The Thunder are good. You guys.
I can't find Rockets.
That guy's legit.
I can't find Rockets games on TV either. So
yeah.
I do what I got to do.
It's okay. All right. Well, Josh, obviously, you hit us up a little bit before. You were like, "Hey, you got no guests."
Talk about baseball.
Like, let's go. And you were like, "Baseball and basketball talk." Let's go, baby. I'm ready.
Baseball. Woo.
Woo. That's how I felt today when I couldn't watch anything. But anyway,
I can imagine.
Let's, that was that not the best Monday Night Raw? I don't know how long, but definitely this. I know we're only in end of March or whatever, but easily the best Monday Night Raw of the year, I think. No, without question. They are, WWE has been cooking for a bit here, but this WrestleMania season, I think, is the strongest WrestleMania season they've had. And I mean, I can't remember the last time it's been this strong. Maybe 35 with how over Becky was heading into New York, but this feels even. And I know it's because of multitude of things, but The Rock being around as often as he is, and he's one of the all timers. Like it's just, it's must see television. And I thought Monday night was just from start to finish. I just thought that, Pluggo said off screen a little bit, he would have liked to have seen more women on the show, which I do agree. There was really only that one segment with Becky and Rhea, which was a great segment, but that was the only segment that really involved, and Candice LeRae had a little thing in there. She's turning heel and doing that thing, but more women would have been nice. But overall, Monday night was strong. That was a strong Monday night. And if you're not excited for Mania next week, I don't know what to tell you, because this really does feel like it potentially could be the biggest WrestleMania of all time, like actually the biggest WrestleMania of all time. And I'm usually excited about this time, but I am very excited about this time right now. It is cooking. It is cooking. Yeah.
It's cooking like The Rock.
Yeah. Get it?
What do you? Oh, is that all?
Josh
It was good. I thought he was
Josh's
like holding
opinion.
back. I thought I thought you were holding back because you were like
No.
say this was the worst thing you've ever seen.
No, I thought you were just. I was like, oh, Pluggo will talk next, but that's all right. I can talk. I don't mind. Yeah, no, it's fantastic. Apart from WrestleMania in general is lacking on women.
What do they have right now? Do they have 3?
Well, they have 2 confirmed matches, but I guess
Just
we're
the
getting
championship matches, right? That's it.
I guess
right
we're
now?
getting the third. We'll know on SmackDown the third, but they you should have at least 2 matches on each night. But I digress. I guess technically they still could add something, but I don't think they will. Anyway, but other than that, yeah, just I don't even know. I think anything that I'll say will understate how great it actually is, and it feels like there's something. I mean, for a while now, it's been longer than 6 months at this point. WWE's been pretty consistent with just having a good time. Like we've been pretty lucky with everything.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But it feels like after Raw, I just felt like, wow, we really are in the midst of it. Like I know a lot of people talk about, I wasn't old enough and I wasn't like in the Attitude Era, but I feel like this is I know I don't want to talk out of turn or like, oh, you're only saying that because you're in it now, but I feel like this is hotter than that was in a lot of ways. Maybe not in the grand scheme of things of like it just being like to the reach of everything, but the world is different. Not as many people are watching TV as they were back then. And there's multiple different reasons why it's not like as grand maybe as that. But it just feels like that WWE's never been stronger, whether it's just feeling the product is hot, but also like consistent. I think that's the biggest word that I can use to describe how this feels now in the like a post Vince era of WWE, is that everything is seen through. Everything is given a chance to breathe. Everything is given a beginning, middle, and end. And not everything. That doesn't mean everything has been like baseball reference, knocked out of the park, hit a home run. But like it's just seen through for better or for worse sometimes. Like I know you talk about like the lack of women is a big, obviously for me, I'm not even going to get into that, how I, too crazy, but like the Candice LeRae stuff is, yes, it's only a couple of minutes on TV, but they're important minutes. Just because something is short doesn't mean that it's not getting the attention it deserves. No, everything that I'm just using this as an example, but like everything that Candice LeRae has done over the last 4 weeks has been important. So sometimes it's not, sometimes other things do go long or they need more time. That's just a proxy of the business that happens. Some things need additional minutes to get hype and get more attention. That's fine.
Yeah.
But just
our truth never needed 20-minute segment to get over.
Maximizing your minutes. 30 seconds is a very long time to be on worldwide television. You can make 30 seconds something. You know what I mean? Like I feel like the biggest problem that I have, I know a lot of people are going to take this the wrong way, and they can take it however they want. But if you see 20-minute great matches every single week, they just blur into one. I don't need every single match to go for 20, 25 minutes and just be like the greatest thing ever. Make that feel special. And I like that. I love wrestling. Oh my God. I'm not saying don't wrestle, but like sometimes you don't need that every week. You don't need that in every single segment. Everyone's like, oh, this was a 3-segment match. That's great. But if I had 2 3-segment matches in a row, that will eventually drag over 3 hours. It's just like, oh, okay, man. All right. I need a breather. Sometimes you need like a 2-minute thing. Sometimes you need talking for 20 minutes. Sometimes you need talking for 10. Sometimes you just need other stuff that kind of filters in and out. So just making whatever minutes that you have on television really count.
And for me, obviously you have the main story that's going on here with The Rock and Rome. And that story has been, they have, from the initial decision where they had The Rock take Cody's spot, whether this was all part of the story, which it wasn't, or they just recovered very, very well, which they have recovered very, very well here. That is the main story that is really grabbing everyone's attention, as it should, because to me, seeing The Rock in this form, where he is maybe the most dastardly evil that he's ever been, ever. And I love it. But it's been that secondary stuff for me that has really put Raw over the top. Like, Giddy's here. Giddy's here. Everyone's saying hello to Giddy. You know we are very pro-cat here on Between Two Beards. We are very pro-cat.
My cat was all about me today, which is not
sometimes they need some loving. Most of the time they're telling you to get the F out of here, but sometimes
my cat today was
Giddy
like,
looks like
hey,
she's
what's up?
enjoying all that love right there. Look at that. Look at
Purring.
the joy
I don't know
on
if
her
you can
face.
hear it. It probably won't come up on the microphone, but she's having a good
Sometimes you can
purr.
hear it. Yeah,
cat ASMR.
But it's the secondary stuff for me. The Candice LeRae stuff, I've loved. I have loved the Sami Zayn and Chad Gable interactions in the back for the last couple weeks. I have thoroughly enjoyed that. You know what else I've enjoyed? Them for 3 straight weeks letting Ricochet go out there and be Ricochet and get over with the crowd because he's that good in the ring and that exciting to watch and win matches and get himself over. You see that on Monday night, the end of that match, how pumped that crowd, like that is called building someone to the point where maybe after WrestleMania, he's going for a mid-tier title or something like that. The guy's been sitting on the sidelines for 3 years.
How good is it, by the way? I feel like in the last, let's just say since the start of the year, just to say it, it may not be exactly right, but the crowds in WWE's crowds have finally caught up to how good the product is. For a little while there, it was like the product's feeling really good, but the crowds weren't necessarily like, it took a minute for the crowd to connect and like not only just sell out. I'm not talking about numbers, but like just like the sheer volume, like everything is getting a reaction.
Yeah. And I when this first started and Triple H first started taking back over the booking side of things, and you started to see these longer matches and these more detailed stories on all levels of the card, when we were talking about it, because Raw was having some great nights of Raw, but the crowd was silent or not super duper. And
a lot of those like initial returns, I was like, no reaction.
Exactly.
Sucked.
And the way that I took it is Triple H had to teach the WWE fans to love wrestling again, because a lot of the stuff we were seeing in the pre-booking era, there was wrestling happening, but it wasn't. There were so many false finishes, 2-minute matches, the same matches, rematch. Like Triple H had to teach the WWE universe, not all wrestling fans, but he needed to kind of like condition the fans to loving what like a cohesive wrestling show should be again, because for so long it just wasn't that. It was just this, product that WWE was just churning over and over week after week. It was the same stuff. It was okay. Yeah, great. This match again for the 5th week in a row. Music goes off. You get distracted, roll up finish. Great. 2-minute match or this or that. Like Triple H is like, no, this is what a balanced wrestling show should look like. And it took a while for the fans to kind of be like, oh, okay. yeah, I get this now. Now I'm jacked up for everything. I am jacked up for the Ricochet JD McDonough match that's going to happen right now. Like I'm excited about that. I'm excited about Candice LeRae turning heel and Indy Hartwell being like, what's going on? You know, the intrigue of that. Like there's stories being told at every level on the card. And that means that everything matters, which is why everything's getting a reaction. And
that's the biggest thing too, is like every single segment, no matter if it's the bottom of the card to the top of the card, there's nothing that doesn't matter on the show, especially more so. I feel like more so on Raw than SmackDown.
I agree.
Maybe it's just me, maybe. But like if you're going to do a 3-hour show, which we all know, every wrestling fan knows is really long, it can be done, but it is anything for 3 hours is a really long time. That's not a knock on WWE's product or anything, but like if you watch a 3-hour movie, it's a drag, no matter how great it is. Like it's long. So it can be done, but if you're going to do a 3-hour show, at least make every single segment matter. Now, granted, I watch Raw on a delay every week. I watch it when I get home from work. So like I skip the ads. I often do sometimes if a match is dragging a little, I'll just, skip 40 seconds here, a minute here, just to like, because it is hard to watch sometimes for 3 hours of anything. So like sometimes I just have to do that. So granted, I watched it on a little bit different than every week, but I watched Raw live last week and it didn't drag, which is really nice. It doesn't drag too much. So I feel like that's the biggest thing, that is just the consistency, and just like every single thing matters, no matter where it's positioned on the card. I know we keep talking about the Candice LeRae stuff, and I'm not saying that's the greatest thing that's happening right now, because there's a lot better, there's far worse. It's just kind of like, it's happening and it's fun. But like, I think collectively over the last 4 weeks since this all started, I think this has probably had maybe 6 minutes of television time, but we're talking about it. So that's good. So it's maximizing those minutes that's happening and just making something, like, again, if you guys had 30 seconds to go out on global television, you would make the most of those seconds, because that's a long time. You can say something in those times.
I'd probably piss myself.
But then people would talk about it. That's maximizing.
One could argue that would be making the most of your 30 seconds there.
Yeah.
Because you just want someone to take something from those 30 seconds and talk about it in 3 weeks, in 4 weeks, in 5 weeks. Like,
this guy's got a lot of piss in him.
Yeah, exactly. But like, we're still talking about like the Candice stuff from a few weeks ago when she talked about Maxine's dead brother or whatever, because it's something to latch onto, and it is something. And I also like that, like, a lot. I feel like this turn in a previous regime would have just happened and it would have been over by now, and no one would be like that regime would be past it by now, because I'd just be sick of it. Like, Triple H is allowing, like, we all know what's coming in the terms of like, Candice is a shithead. Indy will more than likely join her, I think.
Yeah, be a shithead.
But like,
yes.
but that sometimes, again, I hate when people are like, this is predictable. Predictability doesn't mean bad. Predictability means this is the way that we think it should go. Execute it that way.
Yeah.
Don't just do a shock thing just to do a shock thing. You know what I mean? I feel like a lot of times in wrestling, a shock thing will just happen to happen, and it doesn't necessarily need to make sense. And I don't like that. I'd prefer something to be predictable and make sense than just, not make sense just for a bit of a surprise for 2 minutes and then we forget about it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, for sure.
I just think, there were so many segments on Monday night that were just, you had the opening segment with Cody, and he's talking about, WrestleMania, and he's talking about all this stuff. And then you have The Rock, who's not advertised, show up. And it's like, oh, dang. And then they have their thing.
Which they never would have done back in the day. They would always hammer home that he's going to be there. And that was always a big problem.
Because what do they do?
That was always a big. I'll be honest with you. This Monday, I had a really rough week personally, so I didn't watch Raw live, but I had some messages sent to me about what was going on. And I was like, oh shit, was that tonight? Like, I didn't know The Rock was going to be there. So not that I wasn't going to watch, I just ended up having to take care of some stuff. But like, I watched it the next day, of course, but I was like, shit, they usually would hammer that home that The Rock's going to be there. The Rock's going to be there. And now they're implementing that. Like, if you're not paying attention, you're going to miss out. You're going to miss out. You're going to miss something.
Show.
Right.
And I think that's what they need. Like, they advertise They advertised The Rock being there next week on the Go Home show in Brooklyn. The Rock's going to be there. They have been advertising that for over a week now. And then you see it, you hear the music on Monday, and you're like, oh, dang. And if you are a wrestling fan, that whether you had to miss it for, just because you weren't in the mood to watch it or you had stuff to do, if you hear, like you just said, Pluggy, you nailed it on the head. If you hear, oh, dang, The Rock showed up, they didn't say that he was going to be there. Now,
The Rock's music hitting while you're watching live is different than knowing like he's coming, like when you don't.
100%.
It's awesome. It's a great feeling, and you're like, shit.
Yeah. And I was sitting here on this computer kind of watching it off to the side, and his music hit, and I was just like, oh, dang, The Rock's there. And I'm just like, oh, and that's the reaction, right? Yeah. And it's like, if you do hear that The Rock's there, it's one of those things where you're like, damn, I need to pay attention. I need to be watching Raw because things are happening that they're, surprises are happening. These things are all, it's
that, and they're filling in like these segments. They're making all of these little backstage segments mean even more with like little Easter eggs they're dropping. Everything's deliberate now. So like, you're thinking, oh, this is just a silly R-Truth segment, but if you're not paying attention, you see what's Drew McIntyre doing back there talking to Paul Heyman. Like, that's crazy. Like, what's going on? What are they working out? Something? Like, you got it, which is great. You got to be paying attention. I do have my only question. I don't want to say it's a fear, because I think they'll figure out, is this for better or worse? They're doing all of this because they've got The Rock in tow, so they're going balls to the wall, knowing they can get away with a little bit more with The Rock in tow. And then once Mania is over and he's gone, I mean, are they going to dial it back? I hope they don't. I hope they keep going in this. I'm not saying the shows are bad. I'm saying the shows are bad without him. But I think like The Rock gives you, because there was that little rumor floating that some of the talent's not thrilled that he gets a longer leash. He gets to do a little bit more. I hope that they let all of the talent have a little bit more. I don't want the full-blown Attitude Era back, because I think it's a different time. We don't want that. We don't need it. But I would like to see more talent have longer leashes to be able to do some of the things that The Rock is doing and saying and Cody was saying. So I'm just curious how they play it after he's not on TV every week.
I feel like because we're gearing up in a year that's going to be on Netflix, there's even more leashes that can be let go.
Yeah. And CM Punk even referenced it. And in CM Punk even kind of, during his promo with the Seth and Drew, which I'm sure we'll talk about, he even said at the beginning, he cracked that little joke that could have been taken.
That they're going to go to TV 14?
Then he was like, oh, sorry, we're not on Netflix yet. So, like, and then he made a joke that a lot of people were like, oh, he was talking about adult stuff and things like that, like, so, like, No,
he wasn't. If you were paying attention, he wasn't talking about it.
And but even stuff like, even with like Rhea, like they've always kind of leaned into how Rhea is perceived by some on social media and things like that. But now part of the story is Rhea openly on Monday night in that segment with Becky said, oh, you have to come and wrestle to prove to these people that you're still this. All I have to do is take a video or post a picture online and people go crazy for me. And then Becky says, yeah, you might have to just shake your ass and the world goes nuts or whatever. Like, so they're starting to lean into more adult, talk, chatter.
It's like that. It's like that innuendo kind of deal when you're watching like a Pixar movie. Do you know what I mean? Maybe a little bit
and they
more
show
extreme.
like they have those few jokes for the adults.
And you're like, oh, I get that.
Oh,
if you don't get that, who cares? But if you get that, sure, that's great. So I feel like that segment was really good too. Everything was really good on Raw. Again, I can't sing its praises enough. I feel like WrestleMania, you were saying before, JPJ, about like how like I know it's easy to say like, oh, it really feels like the biggest WrestleMania ever, but like it really does, because this is really the first Mania that we're having with no leashes of the previous regime, really.
Yes.
It feels like this is what, if you are going to like what is happening on WWE, now's the time to watch. If you don't like it, I don't think you ever will. That's my opinion of it. It's like, this isn't for you if this doesn't hit for you. I don't know what we can say about like the edginess of the Rock. Or no, I just mean like what more is there to say about like the blood and all of that kind of stuff. Like it was cool. I know, Pluggo, you want to see like, you want more people to have the leash off a little bit and like just kind of
just a little bit. That has to be nuts.
I feel like I understand where you're coming from, but I feel like it feels so cool because no one else does this. I feel like if everyone was having that little bit of a leash off, it would kind of blend all together.
No,
And
but
I
I'm
feel
saying if the story means that, like, let Seth and Drew do that. You know what I mean? Give that
Sure,
leash.
yeah.
Don't just because The Rock's here, he gets to do all the cool shit, and then when he's out, it doesn't come back around ever again. And then it becomes it was only because of The Rock.
The Rock being associated with wrestling being on the board. I don't know really how much that honestly means. Because no one does. Everyone likes to claim like, oh, The Rock's back, so he gets to pull the strings. I'm like, I don't actually know if that means that. He's on the board of TKO. You know what I mean? Like he might have some influence, but I don't really know if he's, in the weeds of things, like shuffling around, being like, let's do this with this. I don't know if that's really necessarily, who knows? No one really knows. Maybe he is. But I feel like his influence and what we're wired to with how Hannah likes things, because we've watched NXT in its heyday and all that kind of stuff. Like, this is what NXT to a version was in 2016 and 2017 is like. Consistency is the main thing. It's not being edgy, and sure, there's edginess to it, but like just letting a wrestling program flow the way a wrestling program should. And if you see something last week on the show, you're going to see that through. You know what I mean? Like, it's not just like one and be like, oh, well, that didn't work. No, allow it. Everything needs to have a chance to fail. That's how my opinion is on anything. And then if it fails, okay, at least you tried. You didn't just give it 2 weeks and then go, oh, I'm never going to see that person again because this didn't get over with the crowd immediately. Nothing really gets over with a crowd immediately unless you let it, give it a chance to get over. That's a blanket statement is not really going to work with everything ever. But like for the most part, like it's just allow it to fail. And I feel like Triple H allows stuff. Not everything that has happened in the last 6 months has been a winner.
Oh,
you know
no,
what I mean?
for sure.
No way. But everything has had a chance to be a winner.
Yeah. And I think the nuances for me, like I've been watching, I'm almost 40. I've been watching wrestling since I was 6 or 7. I am old. I've been watching wrestling since I was 6 or 7 years old, right? I've seen all the different ways you can tell certain stories, and I've seen all these things, but it's the nuances. Perfect example, Sami Zayn and Bronson Reed on Monday night. Good match. Gunther comes out, distracts Sami Zayn, which he loses, which that's not something unfamiliar with wrestling fans, seeing stuff like that happen. But the way it was portrayed is not only did it make Sami lose going into WrestleMania and have him have more doubt, it gave Bronson Reed a very good victory over a very good opponent that then they did a backstage little quick thing with Bronson Reed saying, yeah, I just beat Sami Zayn. Like, I should be at that makes sense. Whereas before, I feel like that would have happened. Gunther would have distracted Sami Zayn, and there would have been no focus on who beat Sami Zayn. The only focus would have been on, Gunther cost Sami Zayn. And first of all, it would have been like a roll-up, stupid, false victory instead of Bronson Reed hitting a move and actually hitting his finisher and dominating the victory. It just would have been a different thing. And I just feel like the layers that Triple H brings, they build stories throughout. There's smaller stories and bigger stories. There's just stories everywhere. And like, it's just the presentation. It's the way they're doing things. And we're setting up to Mania now. We're having a card kind of be filled out here over the next.
Which I'm so annoyed by the way, because I feel like it should be this weekend. Right? Like that's how good it's been.
I feel like they
in a good way. I'm annoyed.
I'm like,
oh my God. Like I want it now. You know what I mean? Like I can't wait to get there.
And also it also feels like Raw felt very like the last push. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What's up, Blair?
Popping in. What's going on?
Hey.
Hi. Hey, Josh. Hey, PLUGGO.
Hello.
PLUGGO, tell JPJ I say hello.
Blair says hello, JPJ.
All right. Fair enough.
What brings you to these parts, buddy?
Oh, just hanging out. I'm about to go visit my wife, who's doing some babysitting. Bring her a little treat.
All right. Fair enough.
Yeah. Just thought I'd pop in.
Yeah.
Right. Appreciate you popping in anytime.
I think this is his way of reminding you he exists, JPJ.
Right. He does exist. He does. And if he were to message me and ask me to come on the show, I'd say, come on. anytime you want.
Pluggo, you let JPJ know that, you know, sometimes it's just nice to get the invite when you see other
It's true.
co-hosts always on the shows.
It's true.
Blair says it is nice every once in a while to get the invite.
Drew
Hey,
is in the
Blair's talking
chat.
to me and talking to you, buddy.
Well, Drew's in the chat. So, I mean, you can get Drew. Drew asked to come on the show, and I said, yeah, I didn't ask Drew to come on the show.
Pluggo, you just let JPJ know that's how I'm feeling. You know, just a little hurt.
Hey, listen, Blair's a little hurt, JPJ. He's just how he's feeling.
Thanks, Pluggo.
You're welcome.
That's why you're a good co-host.
I try.
All right, fair enough.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, what do you got going on this weekend?
Well, you know, just hanging out. I mean, like, we got 4 Exposure on Sunday. It's gonna be a good time, and I mean, it's Easter, so you know, maybe eat some candy, some chocolate. Very minimal wrestling this weekend. You know,
JPJ wants to know if you do ham, Blair.
Let JPJ know that we're actually not doing Easter dinner this year. We bailed on the one set of plans that we had, but we're just going to hang out. I'm going to take my dad over for lunch tomorrow.
He said that they bailed on Easter dinner and they're going to take his dad out for lunch tomorrow. I feel like he's Shohei Ohtani and I'm his interpreter.
Maybe. Maybe. I don't know. All right. Well, we were talking about WrestleMania. That's what we were talking about. We're in the heat of it.
Is he frozen?
Is he frozen? Did he freeze? Is Blair frozen?
He's gone.
Blair's frozen.
Oh!
Oh, is he back now? Are we letting him back on? Did he freeze? What's going on?
You were frozen there.
You were frozen.
Yeah, well, I'm out like an hour outside the city, or a half hour outside the city, so it's the...
Yep, it's freezing.
But I want you to know your voice matters here, Blair. We love you.
Always. Well, what I was going to do before that happened.
It's so funny at the bottom of the screen. Like he's still frozen.
He's just frozen. Drew says the reason it feels the way it does right now is not necessarily because of The Rock and his TKO positions, because Vince isn't micromanaging the crap out of everything. And as a result of him not doing that, it feels fresh. It's ideas that people have wanted to do for years. And you can feel it with production, wrestlers, commentators, etc. It feels like a different company. You know, maybe not new might be strong, but I feel like it feels like it's a different, you know, we titled this episode, "Is this a new era?"
I think it is. I think it is. I think this is finally, like Josh alluded to earlier, with it being the first like WrestleMania with the old regime ties. Like this is the one where it's like, we got to knock this out of the park. We got to try some new things. I mean, you're seeing it with the alcohol sponsorships. You've never done that before. You're seeing it with just like the way it's presented, the way that they're going about things. Like they're in the conversation all the time now. When a couple years back, I mean, we were, and I'm not trying to bring them into the conversation, but I just remember like when AEW came around, it's like, oh, we need some new, because it was such a slog to watch Monday Night Raw. And like I said, it's like they're cooking. Not everything's hitting, but everything's seems to have a purpose. There was a lot of like, oh, you know, we're not going to pay this off, or we're not going to explain it. At least they're explaining things to me, except for why Cody gave up a spot. I'm still waiting for that explanation. But like I have said, they did recover. I think, like I said, they're cooking to a point where like I can't wait for WrestleMania. And we're cooking to the point where I got to be honest with you. Like I know that I joke with you about it, JPJ, as much as humanly possible over the last year, but I don't know if Cody wins this thing.
Oh, he's winning.
This has been like, but the way they're telling this story, it's not about Cody and it's like Cody and The Rock. I don't know, because like it could get absolutely batshit crazy night 2 of WrestleMania.
Oh,
I'm here for it. And who knows?
I expect Roman and The Rock to win the tag match.
Oh, they are.
Yeah,
that I'm certain of.
Bloodline, you don't throw bloodline rules and then not do.
If you're not going to do bloodline rules,
the night 2 main event of Cody and Roman is going to be, I mean this in a good way, an overbooked craziness. And I want every single ref bump. I want low blows. I want I want it to be 50 minutes of just pure wrestling. Chaos. And I mean that as like sports entertainment I just want it to be every single dusty finish that you can have. I want in that match. I don't mean that pun intended, I guess, but
and like to me, I do think Cody is going to win.
I don't know. That didn't feel like enough adversity on Monday. I think he's got a little bit more
Yeah.
adversity.
We still got another week, baby.
Yeah.
Don't
We
worry.
still do. We still do.
Don't worry. He'll probably get
to
hit
me
by a
right
car
there,
on
though.
the fucking
Right.
Monday.
That to me, the end of Raw.
I did it for the
Besides-
Rock. It's Rikishi. Takes him out the car.
Hey, look, he's part of the bloodline, bro.
I
He's
know.
part of the bloodline. I don't act like he ain't.
Oh.
But like the end of Monday, to me, that was the first time we've seen The Rock get physical since he's been back. That was
I can't hear JP.
Okay, I thought I was like, we lost JPJ.
unbelievable. My mic.
I thought it was me, and I was
It
like,
must be Blair. It must be Blair trying to
No,
ruin
it
the
happens
stream.
to us.
Hey, you
sometimes
watch
too.
your mouth. And you shut your mouth.
hey,
when you're talking
hey.
about Blair.
Sometimes JPJ would just be
I
talking
know.
on stream, and then it would
My
just
mic
go
is
off, and he'll be like,
the
"My mic
worst.
just shit itself." I'm like,
Yeah, I don't know what
I
the hell.
know.
This is a brand new mic too, worse than the last one. Unbelievable.
What brand of mic did you get?
I got a good one. I got one of the highest reviewed. It's a Steel Series. It's nice. It's a nice mic. I don't know if it's the wire. I don't know what it is, but like I'll just be talking and it will just, and I'm like, okay, well, what the fuck?
When you're not home, losing their fucking with your shit.
Maybe. Yeah, I think he bites the wire. So
He
it
doesn't.
probably
He
is.
doesn't like you hanging
Psycho.
out.
You have a Paramore vinyl in the background.
I do. I put that on there for you.
All we know is
Once I knew
falling.
you were coming on. I put
No,
that at
WWE's
the
not the
week.
only one that drops Easter eggs.
I do.
This guy.
Yeah.
Paramore might
That's
be at WrestleMania. We don't know that.
We don't know. Bailey's really itching for them to bring it
I'm
down the
itching
aisle.
for it as well. Trust
Yeah.
me.
What were we talking about before my mic died? We were talking about something specific. Yeah, it was the first time The Rock had been physical. And it's the first time we've seen Cody get an ass kicking like that in a little bit. Like an ass kicking. That was brutal. And
It was
You know,
uncomfortable at times.
Yes,
That's how brutal
yes,
it was.
and,
I was
you
like,
know,
"Ugh."
the line where Rock just goes, "You're gonna find out what happens when you fuck with the final boss." And I was like, okay.
Yeah, I
was like,
shat
good
my
try.
pants when he said
I
that.
was
I was
like-
like, holy shit.
The
And
Rock-
like
I-
The Rock always says like goosebumps or whatever. Like when that happened, I was like,
I'm starting to think The
I was-
Rock
I
and
was like,
Cody
"Oh,
don't
what's
like
going
each other,
on here?"
man.
Oh, like I was like, I couldn't.
got you
I was just-
hooked. They working you. They working
Yeah.
you. Pluggo.
Dude, I'm all in.
Do they not
I'm
like each
all
other?
in.
I was like, I didn't realize that they were fighting for the title here at WrestleMania.
The previous one when The Rock on SmackDown was cutting, he did the concert, which was, it was fine, but
I think
it
that
was
was the right move because it was Memphis. It's where he started. I don't
yeah.
think he
But
was
what
getting
happened
booed
after
at all.
that, though, when he made this, that was the first time he mentioned Mama Rhodes.
Yeah.
He was looking at the camera and how he ended it by singing the song
Look
from
at you now.
Moana.
What
And
can
I'm
I
like,
say?
what the?
It's-
I'm just looking at it going, how is this man maybe like obviously as a totality he's not as good as he was when he was in his prime, but I'm sitting there just going like, is this my favorite version of The Rock ever? Because I am fucking loving every second of this evil, like he's on another planet.
Yeah.
And it's just like, I don't know, man. It's one of these things where when he was first introduced and he took Cody's spot, I was on here not singing the praises of The Rock very aggressively not singing the praises of The Rock and how I was happy he was around. But they have completely won me over, hooked me, as Josh said, to the point where I want him to be around for a while now. I want it to be him and Cody one-on-one at SummerSlam for the belt. That's what I want.
The
I
only
don't
thing
think that's
that
going to happen, but
don't-
that's what I want.
what I don't like about it, is because it has kind of made Roman look a little smaller than I would have hoped in this situation, because The Rock is he's taken it over. Like you're saying, you're like, I
But
want
The
Rock
Rock
and Cody.
acknowledged Roman.
I think that's by design, though.
Right, but
I think
it's
that's
by
what I'm
design,
saying
because
though. But
Rock
it's
and
supposed to be
Roman-
Cody Roman, and that's what we're supposed to care
No,
about.
no,
But now we're
but I feel
talking
like-
about everything else that's
I
going to
feel
happen
like
at
that
night
is
two.
by design, because they want you to go.
Oh, I'm sure it is, but
time.
doesn't mean I
And then
gotta
we
like
get
it.
to Rock Roman eventually, some point. Who knows? Maybe Mania next year. Maybe something.
Yeah, I think
Who
that.
knows?
But I
that's
don't
the
have
play.
to love it. But I'm just saying.
fair.
That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and Drew agreeing. He
That's
said, I think
that's
Roman
me
looking.
splitting hairs here.
Yeah, Drew in the chat saying, I think Roman looking smaller is the whole point of this.
But that's so, but again, and that's where it's like, okay, so we got, I don't know. Can we sit here for another year and wait for Rock and Roman? I think they got to capitalize on that quick.
No, because Rock and Roman aren't on television every week. So
we got to hit it. SummerSlam that thing.
I don't know. Mania next year.
Yeah,
I reckon it could. I mean, they could do anything.
All I'm saying is we did this last year where we waited it out. We said we had this, we said we had that, and then it just didn't.
Yeah, but
happen.
Last year was an actual mistake making
that's
choice of Roman winning. That was an actual mistake.
Well, it's because we had The Rock last year. I'm just worried if we wait, what happens when we wait?
Like,
I think keep it going.
Yeah,
keep it going into the summer. Now, make it a huge party.
Personally, if it were me. And The Rock is on the TKO.
So the Roman Reigns is going to sit on it for a year that The Rock cost him the belt at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
That's essentially
because Roman could be on television 8 times over the next.
That's
year.
what I'm saying.
We don't know.
Less than that, honestly, less than that.
I say do it. I say do it at SummerSlam.
See, what I would want, if in a perfect world, is they win the tag match on night 1, night 2 is Anarchy. And The Rock somehow, maybe if it's not fully on purpose yet or whatever, but The Rock somehow is involved in Roman losing the title. Then Roman can go away. The Rock will go away. Personally, I think it's at the point now where Cody and The Rock need to fight one-on-one at some point. The tag match is
we've
fine.
also got to remember what Rock's schedule looks like.
It would be weird if Cody and Rock never fought.
Because
never.
Bro, what happened? And again, they are part of a tag match.
That would make Cody look kind of like a little bitch.
What happened on Monday night to me is like, yeah, Cody needs to get his revenge here, but like, is the revenge in a tag match enough? Like,
no,
for that? Like,
you know what I mean? When they're probably going to lose.
Yes, yes. So
would that be enough for you as a man or as a person to be like, well, I get it, maybe. Yeah, you got to
no.
You gotta have
I would have been out of here if the Rock come near me and said, "I'm going to have your match at WrestleMania." I would say, "Sure, go for it."
Yes, sir.
Well, that's what happened. Out of there. That's what happened, and then we said,
well,
"We're not doing
you
that."
On our birthday, how about you retweet me, you son of a bitch?
Yeah,
that's what I would say. You jerk. 12 years in a row, you son of a b. I don't care who you are, Brahma Bull. Acknowledge me. Anyway, so Jesus.
How many followers does The Rock have on
I don't
Twitter?
care. None of them are more important than me.
About 400 million more than JPJ.
Great. You know who ranks number 1 on that list? Me. Anyway. So
I digress. He's just what would be the funnier part is if he actually saw it and he's like sitting there at breakfast. And he's like,
this bitch ass JPJ
every fucking year.
Fucking guy.
Hit it.
I'm never doing it.
Throws his phone, pulls out a brand new one.
Disgusted.
Like, what the?
Just
fuck?
Disgusted.
Boston.
Boston every day, every year at 12:01 a.m. This loser. Anyway. No,
I get to see The Rock every day at my job. He plays on he has new products that he's promoting within
that's
the
nice.
shoot job. So he has a reel.
Nice.
He has a reel that runs all day.
It's not WWE Rock though. It's just regular Rock.
Yeah, it's just regular Rock, but it's just like, I know what you did to Cody on Monday, you piece of shit.
Literally.
I'm sitting here trying to he's trying to sell me shampoo. That man has no hair.
That is a weird.
That is true.
He's got shampoo and body
wash. Any bald man that can sell me shampoo though, it would be The Rock.
In the reel, I'll have to send it to you one day. He goes, I know I don't have hair. That's weird, but we do have shampoo and conditioner.
Before we move on, because I do want to talk about the CM Punk, Drew, and Seth thing at some point. But,
Drew and CM Punk had Drew Nicholas? Oh,
yeah, it's true.
What? Drew's very active in the chat. Is he ever on this show?
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Blair came on this show because Drew came on this show.
Yeah, JPJ.
I never get to talk to Drew. What the hell are you doing? Can I invite people onto the show? Am I?
Yeah, might as well.
Come on,
send
Drew.
The link. If he's ready,
it was funny.
Screen, but
the night that you, Mike, and Drew came on, Blair was like, "Wow, thanks for the invite, guys." And I was like, "I didn't set that show up. That wasn't me."
And so now I'm a bad guy. Because I'm a bad guy. And then Drew, a week later, said, "Hey, can I pop on for 5 minutes to say something?"
Hey,
I said, "Yeah."
Don't worry, JPJ. We've got a nice simulation stream coming up in a couple of days. It's just for me and you.
Yeah.
No. Well, that wouldn't be any different than any other month.
Wow.
Actually,
I've never got the invite. Not
actually,
a
no. There was an open invite to any member of the Love Wrestling crew
That is true.
wanted to
That
come
is
on,
true.
and nobody took me up on it. So I was like,
That is true.
When was
happened.
that? But
months
hey,
Look that up in the
just
Slack. That's in there.
like I've always said, a personal invite directed at me and not the whole group would be nice. I mean, I never get invited ever, not once.
Man, so many feelings here tonight.
Oh,
Yeah.
man,
between
it's
Do
the
I
two.
ever get to hang out
very
and watch
emotional
Omos put on
episode.
5-star bangers?
That's
No,
a very
I
emotional
don't.
episode here on B2B.
I have to sit there in the chat while I'm, sitting in my boxers, just be like, "This is really cool, guys." So yeah, whoop-de-doo. It's gonna be a really fun stream, by the way, Josh and JPJ Saturday.
Yeah, we're doing
night.
both nights in one. It's going to be a time.
It's gonna be a
It's
good
going to be
time.
a time.
So
I
sorry,
think
everyone that
Googling-
watches Collision. You have to watch us instead. Do people
Yeah,
watch
sorry.
Collision?
Yeah, Collision.
I
will be
do
on the
now.
I don't have firmly this weekend because of Easter, so I'll be watching Collision probably at some point.
I do
Easter
have a
afternoon.
collision date
But-
now.
Yeah.
He's like, jot that down.
God.
No, but before we get in my perfect world, I'd have the Rock signed up.
Is
for
somebody
free.
actually sent in Drew this link, or is he just?
I sent him the link.
Okay, I'm just making sure before I send it to him too. I'm
I would
too
have the
busy.
Rock
I'm in
set
my
up for-
feelings right now. Okay,
My favorite
My
part
three
about this show
matches-
is how fucking crazy this. It's just
Oh,
off.
it's
the
just
it's
rails.
night
chaotic.
2
It's
of
just fucking
WrestleMania.
nonsense.
That's what it's gonna be.
It's just nonsense. I would have the tag match at this Mania. I would have Rock and Cody 1-on-1 at SummerSlam, and I'd have Roman cost Rock that match. And then I would have Roman and Rock at Mania, one of the main
much.
events, maybe night
So
one.
many things
Whatever.
are gonna
You
happen.
figure
It's
it
gonna.
What? That's not
It's
bad.
gonna be
No.
I mean,
no.
just like there's just
Just
that
thinking
match
about-
is just gonna be like a love letter to
Listen.
wrestling in the sense of
Yes.
just like so much shit is gonna. How many
Before-
referee
Yes.
bumps are we gonna see? I think we're
Before
gonna see
we
about
put
In the
Drew
tag match?
on, let
Or
me
the
say
night
this.
two?
well, probably in the
Because-
tag match as well.
Let me say this. It would, before we bring Drew on, it would be absolutely more insane if they just had a straight up one-on-one match at Mania and it was a perfect 1, 2, 3, no
Yeah, no,
interference.
we don't want
But that's what I'm saying. That's how crazy this story has gotten. Where like if they just did the straight lace 1, 2, 3 wrestling match, you'd be like,
I
what
want
the
someone
fuck?
to set off a bomb in the center of the ring, and Cody still
Exploding
fucking kicks
wire
out.
death match. And speaking
Like,
of
give me-
exploding wire death matches, Big Money Drew.
Finally,
Oh,
the Drew has come back to Between Two Beards.
wow.
How are you, sir?
Incredible.
I'm doing pretty well now that I'm on this
Yeah.
show. I didn't have
You
a
were
great day,
requested. You were
so I'm
requested
really
by
happy
our
to be
guest.
here.
You were requested by our guest.
You were part of his
was. Oh,
demand.
Blair
Demanded.
didn't say anything about this, Blair. I'm sorry.
Yeah, Drew, you
Blair.
pissed Blair off a couple weeks ago when you asked me to be on this show, and I agreed. You pissed him off.
I am only
He's not even-
doing
he's-
this
Don't
He's on
spin it.
my
Don't
show.
spin it firmly. Don't spin
He's
it.
on my show, not even acknowledging me when he's talking to me.
Yeah,
You
Drew,
wanna
that
talk about you
Drew,
wanna talk
Drew,
about
that would have been the move
disrespect.
to be like JPJ, tell Pluggo.
Yeah, if you would have
What?
came on,
No,
Drew,
I'm
Drew-
respectful of everybody. I don't know what Blair would do.
JPJ, tell Pluggo that. But yeah. I like Drew. I'm not. I love Drew. I like Blair. I like Blair a lot. Blair's been on here plenty of times. If
Oh,
wanna
so
come at
you,
the king,
lo-
you don't
so you
miss,
love
bro.
Drew like Blair.
Oh,
I heard
it.
I
I
met
heard
Blair.
it.
Look at him.
I'm
Hey,
not-
I said
Can I-
this
can I
last
be honest
week.
with you?
We're turning into Barstool Sports on this
Can
show.
I be honest with you? Out of everybody that is on this screen, I have met Blair in real life, and I have never met any of you in real life.
What are you trying to
And
say?
I've hosted shows and co-host shows with every single one of you. And
That's not
Blair is the
fair. I'm on
one
the other
that
side
I've
of the
met.
world.
Yeah,
Well, yeah,
yeah.
but I assume I will meet all of you at one point.
Blair's
But
on the
when
other
you
side of
say-
the country. So
Yeah,
there's
Blair
that.
is in a different country than he's
It's
in a
not
different-
comparable exactly, but
I'm
it's
just
almost
saying,
comparable.
People saying that I hate Blair. I met Blair in person. I hung out with Blair in real life.
Nobody said you hate Blair. We just can't figure out why you don't throw him the invite link once in a while. And then I got to sit there on Saturday and explain it and be like, I don't know what he's thinking. I just showed up this day and he was like, all these people are coming on. And I'm like, okay.
Blair, if you want to do what I did, I messaged them about 20 minutes before the show
That's
in
what
a
I'm
group
saying.
chat to both of them. And I said, I'm not doing anything. Do you need a guest? And they were like, sure.
Yeah,
Full
so that's what I'm saying.
full shoot. There's no real heat here, but God, I
There
wish
is
there
heat.
was.
No, I'm gonna play it. No, there's heat now.
You're
There's
gonna
heat
play?
now.
Oh, there's
You
heat
disrespect
now.
me on my own
I would
show.
love like
You
imagine like a
disrespect me on my own
scandal.
show. Don't acknowledge
Big
my presence.
scandal.
Your own
It's
show,
like-
isn't it our show?
It
Isn't
is,
our
but he was
show?
directing.
There is a lot of my's being thrown
Yeah,
around. I will
there's a
say
lot
that,
of
Pluggo,
acknowledged
and-
me's.
Look at me, I'm just like
mine.
this, stirring the
This is fun to
pot.
watch, actually.
Yeah.
Well, and
What's
on
that?
that,
That sounds like a train.
Drew.
Whatever.
I mean, I'm sorry. Blair is welcome on this show anytime Blair wants to come on the show. Just the next time he comes on the show, I need an apology before he starts talking about wrestling stuff. That's it. So that's all.
Also,
That's all.
let's be
That's all.
honest. He needs to work on the internet issue.
he was in his car.
He was in his
Unbelievable.
car. Like usually, the internet issue was good. I like Blair.
Usually, I'm the internet issue, and I still get to show
Yeah,
up. here
Pluggo
every
usually is,
week.
but my mic's not working tonight. I don't know. I
Yeah.
don't know what the hell's going on.
Well, you're gonna have
But
to get
anyway,
your internet issue.
Well, Drew,
Well, who
you're
else
you're
needs to
somebody-
leak?
Obviously, the first hour of the show has been focused on WWE and WrestleMania because it's white hot right now.
I
and
know.
stuff like
I
that.
want to. That's
But
why I'm here. I actually
Yeah,
want to.
I was gonna say, are you
Exactly,
here
and I was
to
going to say you're
praise it?
somebody that at some point you
The
stopped
hater,
watching
they would say.
WWE because you just
Hater.
weren't into it anymore. But now, because of all the buzz and what's going on, you've kind of started watching it again, leading up to WrestleMania. And I think that you're pretty positive on your experience of coming back with WWE so far, or maybe.
I
Yeah.
will say, I am. Look, honestly, it's mostly the bloodline stuff, which is the main reason why I left. Has now brought me back. I believe the kids say the feeling's been restored.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's
'Cause it feels
the
like
popular phrase right now
2003.
amongst the youth, probably all over TikTok. But yeah, the feeling is restored right now. Like I am fully 100% on board with the final boss and everything that the bloodline is doing right now. It's really, it's like I was saying in the chat before, you can see, and with the segment that we're all going to talk about next, you can see the passion renewed in so many people, both on and off screen. Off screen, particularly production, like I said.
Yeah.
Doing 1.5 minute long camera shots without cutting to anything. What the fuck is that about? That is goodbye, Kevin Dunn. Fuck you. Let the door hit your ass on the way out. Okay, that's legitimate. Fuck Kevin Dunn and Vince, because Vince would have never did something like this.
Yeah,
and it's
wrestling.
So refreshing.
Yeah,
it's so refreshing to watch. When Rock came back out and did. I didn't even tell my husband I was doing a show because I was just like, he just got home now. Like,
we're causing problems at home now.
It's when Rock.
Bring him on. Tell him to hop on. It's fine.
He doesn't give a shit about wrestling.
That's fine. We'll talk to him about it. We'll try to convince him.
When Rock came back, before he was really into the final boss, and he just came back at that Memphis show that he did the concert. And that regular music of his was playing, and then all of a sudden this guitar riff, like, oh wait, what the hell's going on? And then the Hollywood Rock theme started playing. That's it. It was over.
Yeah.
I was fully invested. That is my favorite WWE theme, the Hollywood Rock theme.
And it just looks so damn cool with the new setup and obviously all the technology.
Yeah.
And it just looks badass.
When he came out that first time, and then the
lightning,
lightning, and then that big one in the center that leads to that spotlight of just him just standing there in the Versace vest. It's fucking incredible, and I need to see it in person.
Yeah, are you going on Monday? It's in Brooklyn. You going?
Most likely, yes.
Hell yeah.
I've been to Dynamite, Rampage, Collision, and AEW pay-per-view. I've been to SmackDown. I've been to WWE pay-per-view.
Oh, you've
the
never been to
only
a
thing
Raw.
I'm missing is Monday Night Raw.
Damn. There we go.
And it's going to be here, and the final boss is going to be there.
How can he top what he did this past Monday, though? Man,
He's gonna get his ass kicked in
you
Brooklyn.
think
by
so? You
Cody
think
Rhodes.
Cody answers? You think
I'm
they make
hoping
The
Queen.
Rock
I'm
look that way
hoping my
before
Queen
WrestleMania?
Brandy shows up and
I
takes
don't
care of
think so.
business. Kicks him in
I
the
don't
balls.
think they make The Rock. I don't think they.
Who
kick The
told
Rock's
you
ass
this was
before
open
Mania.
mic night, bitch?
Bitch,
That's what I want to hear.
I've been waiting for
That,
it.
and
Wait.
honestly, after what happened on Monday, that is a very, very good line to say to The Rock.
Are you saying
yeah.
The Rock is gonna get unscathed all the way to Mania?
I don't think
I'm
The
with JPJ.
Yeah,
I
I don't
do
think so.
That
I don't think
you gotta,
The Rock gets.
Cody is the king of adversity. How can you
Yes.
knock
Right.
this man down? That's why I said he
No,
needs to get hit by
right,
a car.
yeah.
Like, I
So-
wasn't joking.
All right, so
like a SmackDown, a SmackDown
All right.
WrestleMania.
all right, boys.
thing.
Well,
Kinda
here,
like
all right,
what-
boys. Here we go. I got
Let's
it.
go. Let's
I
talk
got
it
the
out.
question. I
Talk
got
this
the
out,
question.
bro. Let's
I've
talk.
got a good question. I've got
All
three esteemed
I'm
panelists
ready.
here. Over under. I'm going to set the bar at 19 and a half. How many security guards are getting knocked out on Monday Night Raw?
Oh.
65.
19 and a half you have?
19 and a half. That's a nice picket line between Cody and Rock.
Is,
That's a
is the
good.
half hornswoggle? I just want to know.
Well, you got to go over under, so you can't go. You can't say 19. It's either going to be 19 or 20.
27.
I don't know. See, this is the thing.
27.
I don't think.
So
I'm
Josh has the
actually.
over.
I'm smashing the over.
I'm
You're going over, I'm
actually
going under.
with. I feel like I'm with JPJ and Josh on this. That it's
I
not
don't-
going to happen on Monday. I think if it happens, it's happening on Friday.
Here's
the
my
night before WrestleMania.
maybe. Here's my thing. I think Cody's getting the shit kicked out of him again on Monday, and then he's losing the tag match on night one. So going into night two, Cody is even kind of like shit. Because then it's bloodline rules. And I think Cody, then we talk about adversity, getting his ass kicked the last couple weeks by The Rock or the bloodline leading into Mania, losing the tag match on night one. And then the whole time you show him a few times leading up to the main event, and he's, kind of beaten down, kind of doubting himself.
Where was
and blah, blah,
Seth
blah. And
during
it's
all
like,
this?
So this is
Seth was
what I want
recovering.
to say. I think Monday is going to be Seth's turn.
to get his
To get
ass
his-
kicked.
I think because
Ooh.
he
That makes
was
sense.
not
I
involved
like
in
that.
any of
I like
stuff.
that.
Yeah,
I think
he wasn't.
Monday they focus on Seth, and Seth comes out to defend Cody, obviously, because he was involved in this Drew.
And
the thing
Paul
that
was
talked about
talking to
that.
Drew, and they could beat his ass backstage. Hopefully, it
Drew-
rains.
Yeah, and I think Drew is going to get involved in that as well to pay back for what happened on Monday, and I think so. Yeah, I think I actually will be surprised if Cody even shows up on Monday to sell
Maybe.
that beatdown.
Maybe. Maybe.
If he does, great.
I don't think Cody will be on the SmackDown before WrestleMania because he's not a SmackDown guy. I think
That doesn't
He's
matter.
been on SmackDown.
I know it doesn't matter, but like I don't think they'll do that. I think
JPJ loves
the
them
last time-
rules, hard and fast.
No, but I think the last time we see
WWE
Cody
does.
before
WWE does.
WrestleMania is probably this Monday. That's what I would think. I don't think he'll be on SmackDown.
I don't
Or he
know.
makes a surprise.
No, you could do a surprise thing.
Like people
And
would
he's
be
I
like,
think
"Oh,
The
I
Rock.
think
no way
that's
Cody
smack
would
the
beat
night
him."
before WrestleMania. I think you're gonna have everybody on that show.
Yeah, maybe you're probably right.
Everyone's in Philly anyway, so
You're probably right.
Right. So
You
yeah,
got
I,
our
um,
truth managing the collective. That's
I
what
think
want.
that Monday. I mean, Cody can still show up because he's the whitest white meat baby face in the world right now.
Mhm.
So probably he would show up like limping and
on
headbandaged
crutches
up.
in a wheelchair.
That'd be
Rock
great.
pushes him off stage, Cardona Kane style.
We got
but
Scott.
I think it's Seth's turn on Monday.
That's a good.
I'm
That's
really
I actually like
looking
that.
forward to
I actually like that because Seth wasn't involved in that, and I want to talk about what Seth was involved in now. But before we do, Scott in the chat says Rock is going to screw Roman by not letting the Bloodline go out to help him, even though it's a Bloodline rules match. So he's going to turn the
No,
Bloodline on Roman. Well, Drew, you think that eventually this leads to Roman becoming a babyface, and it will be bad guy Rock versus good guy Roman when they eventually.
Listen, this version of Rock is too good to lose so soon.
It's incredible.
Honestly,
right now.
like, how do you and even with the like I was like, maybe he'll be in cahoots with Cody. Maybe he'll like end up being the babyface after, but like, how does he become the babyface after what he did on Monday?
But how could you not think The Rock's a babyface in this whole scenario? All he is a family man, dude. This is all for his family. What are you trying to say, man?
Apparently, he loves golf.
This isn't about family for Cody. This is about winning some piece of gold material object. The Rock is doing this for his family. How dare you? How dare you?
I think,
sir.
What? The Roman. Listen, I've said this on In the Weeds this morning. Was that this morning? Yeah, Wednesday. No. Yesterday was Wednesday. So yesterday morning, I was, in the chat on In the Weeds on Overbooked, and they were talking. Joel and Jeremy were talking about this too. It just makes the most sense given that the bloodline in its current iteration, separating itself from Rock, it's run its course. We knew it ran its course last year. When Roman retained, and we all thought Cody was going to win. It really has run its course, and the final boss character sliding himself in and being the new head of the table, because I don't think Rock interferes. I'm going to tell you my honest fantasy booking of this. Obviously, Rock and Roman are winning on night one because you do the bloodline rules match. There's no way, like Josh said, there's no way that you say that and you don't deliver.
Yeah,
because it's going to be the most overbooked bullshit in the most beautiful way.
Yeah, the drama, the cinema.
Yeah,
of it.
Sorry, Righteous Rich. It's cinema. If this is cinema for real.
Yeah.
You go into night two. What I would do, I'm sorry, I forgot. I know that Seth is supposed to be wrestling on night two.
Yes.
But I would really have him open night one and have The Rock cost him the match against Drew. That's honestly what I would do to get him really angry and not in the right headspace for the main event.
Mm.
And remember, Rock always said, listen, I can take that title away.
Yeah.
And wouldn't it be poetic if he's the reason why Seth loses?
But Rock could technically still do that on night two, right? Couldn't he?
I guess he could.
Because he's not advertised for night two, but we know he's going to be there. He can do whatever he wants. I guess that's what he plays.
I feel like
it would make the most sense.
Drew will be involved in the tag match on night one by taking taking Seth out of the equation, and then Rock will return the favor for that on night two and help Drew beat Seth.
That's good.
Yeah.
You know what?
To be like, hey, scratch your back, we'll scratch your scratch my back.
Was talking to Heyman as well.
So Drew will take out Seth, and then say at some point in the 45-minute match that this will probably be, Drew takes out Seth, and Cody's like, oh my god, I'm on my own. Gets beat 2-on-1 in that match, and then the next night, or maybe not necessarily The Rock, but the bloodline of some point help Drew. And isn't that a callback to everything, because Drew was like, the bloodline ruined everything for me, ultimately gets him what he wants.
Yeah.
So
you know what? I'm with that. I'm with that. Yep, because I forgot about Heyman and Drew.
We are in a new era of the WWE because we have not mentioned a false finish or a double count out. Or
there'll be
some. I'm just saying, we got options. It's awesome.
WWE now,
winning matters.
We talk about the whole, and consistency is that shit doesn't just happen to happen. That happened for a reason, and not everybody has to notice that. But the people that do are like, oh my god, that's why I just seen 3 weeks ago when Drew and Paul were talking. Oh my god, I'm being valued and I'm being rewarded for paying attention to what's happening on my screen. So I think some version of that is my opinion. Whether that happens or not, maybe it won't. But that also ties into a lot of the stuff have been but Seth and Drew maybe feels a little bit just a step below. No, everything's tying together.
It is a step below though, but not in a bad way. I don't mean it.
I don't necessarily think.
But that's okay. There's levels to this shit, guys, and not everything has to be. I'm just saying, this bloodline, Rock, Roman, all this stuff is now.
That's the top story. But I think.
But this stuff is good too.
Yeah, and George in the chat, Scott in the chat said, I think Punk is going to cost Drew the match against Seth. Now, I understand why you would think that, maybe because they're clearly building to Punk and Drew for when Punk is back. But I think the money there is Drew being the champion.
Yeah,
when CM
that's a
Punk
that's a
comes back.
title feud. That's a
Yes,
title feud.
and
for
CM
me.
Punk comes back and goes after Drew McIntyre, who is the champion. And then
Agreed.
next year at WrestleMania, you could have a CM Punk champion versus Seth, or you can get back to your Seth and CM Punk.
I
and it's for the
loved
belt
that
or
Seth
something.
still was like, I don't give a shit about you. Now
Well,
he's like,
I want
babyface
to talk.
Seth.
Yes,
I
don't get me
love
wrong.
that.
We could. This whole episode could be about Rock Road. This whole
It really
episode,
could.
we could talk for hours
I mean,
about
it
what
has
can
been.
happen.
My theory was it's nuts,
I-
but I
I
think
do
that
want to talk about Drew, Seth, and Punk and all that, because obviously that was a main segment. Of,
Well, I just wanted to
Yeah.
end my
Yeah,
night two
yes, go ahead.
prediction, 'cause
Yes.
we got like tied up with the night one thing, but I do agree with what you said, Josh. Definitely because of that Drew Heyman thing, they bring that to night two, and Bloodline cost him the match 100%. I think I really do agree with that now. But with the main event with Cody and Roman, I think what should be happening is it's obviously it's going to be an overbooked mess. Everyone's going to be involved, but there's that other factor of the big moments that are supposed to be coming that are a surprise, in the form of maybe Stone Cold Steve Austin, maybe John Cena. I've seen like other people talk about like, oh, like there should be an Avengers style thing of everyone that Roman's wronged.
That's
Obviously,
what I think it should be.
ones that are in WWE.
Yeah.
Just like forming this big moment on stage where they're all, music, and they all come out and they just go march down there to help Cody win. That would just be bonkers and the most overbooked shit possible. But at this point,
biggest WrestleMania of all time.
you
baby.
got to
Go
do it.
big,
And it's
pull it out.
WrestleMania 40 too, which
Thank God.
remember WrestleMania 30, every 10 have these major, huge moments. And a huge moment that happened at 30, besides The Undertaker losing, was Rock, Stone Cold, and, Redacted in the ring in the beginning of the show.
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like having 40 end with Rock and Austin again, where Austin takes out The Rock for Cody, and then maybe John Cena takes out Solo Sikoa, or, Solo's going to do the thumb again, like he did last year. And then Cena's there and he takes out Solo, and Roman loses that way. Something to that effect, because we have to remember there are definitely going to be some surprises in this match.
Oh, yeah.
It's not just going to be Bloodline interfering.
Yeah.
Because
I would
Bloodline
think-
rules means like
Anything goes.
anything can happen.
Yeah. And
So
It means
maybe,
no
like-
DQ, it means all that
Yeah.
stuff.
I want honestly, like, I want everybody. Like, I love the idea of Stone Cold and like the bigger guys like that, but I want Kevin Owens to get involved. I want Sami Zayn to be there. I want.
What about
all
Damian
these guys.
Priest, guy? Like, I'm just throwing that out there. He's got to be in the mix at Mania.
He's not. I think if he's in the mix, he's going to be in the mix when it comes to Drew and Seth.
Yeah, that's my
That's
theory.
what he's in the
but-
mix with.
You could do.
And CM Punk
could
now
do
is going to be on
Punk.
commentary. So
You could do Punk costing Drew, if we don't do the Bloodline interference part. Punk costing Drew, and then Damian Priest cashing in on Seth afterwards. Just
Is Drew been reading my Facebook page? Because that's exactly what I want to happen. That's how I posted.
I don't know.
it.
There's no
For double
part of
whammy,
me, like,
baby.
there's no part of me that just sits here and goes, a good outcome for WrestleMania would seeing, no offense to Damian Priest, but seeing Damian Priest with the world title.
We just got to do something
no.
soon.
I
Throwbacks
hope
in the
Yeah,
house.
it's
Hey, go
getting
back.
soon because he has to hurry up.
Yeah, he's running out of time. Throwbacks in the house. We hope you're feeling better, brother.
We've never
saw-
had that. We've never had a Money in the Bank holder though, like race against the clock though. Like we should be able to get to the point where it's like, oh, he has to cash in this week because he's going to run out in 3 weeks. Like imagine that like countdown of like the impending time is coming, and then like there is no other time, and he has to cash in here. Like imagine that could be kind of.
Couldn't it?
Maybe not.
Somebody
Maybe I'm
floated
talking out of my ass.
No, that's a killer idea. My only issue with that idea is that they've had so many fumbles over the past couple years with it that I just didn't want them to get like too cheeky with it this time. But that's a killer idea because I just would love it though.
Imagine you're like 10 days out from Money in the Bank and he still has the briefcase.
But he has to be
when
successful.
The hell is he cashing in?
But he's got to be. He has to be. Then what's the point? That poor guy, and then what they did with it last year and the year before that.
My thing is, I think you need to, because
you need to reestablish that it's a big
women don't know how to hang on to it. They're just like, let's cash it now.
No, that too. They need a woman this year. Then whoever wins it needs to hold it for a while.
Yeah,
and then
I think that's what they need to do with with this or the next couple Money in the Banks is they need to reestablish that having that briefcase like is more important than it is, because I think it was pretty stagnant for a while. And then the thing with Austin Theory was really like, what the hell was that, man? So I think you really need to establish like, oof, you know what I mean? You got to get it back, because I remember when you had the Money in the Bank briefcase, like, dude, that was
they don't
when
have
Ziggler
to be
came
all
out, when all these people
successful,
came out, it was like, whoa. Scott saying that Priest cashes in on Gunther.
How dare you? Mrs. Pluggo saying hi.
Mrs. Pluggo, we need to acknowledge Mrs. Pluggo.
Hi, Mrs. Pluggo. Hi, honey. She's so excited that Josh and Drew are here. I don't even think she's watching for us.
Understandable.
I mean, it's fair. I mean, I get it.
Yeah.
Mrs. Pluggo, the apple of my eye.
Clearly better.
All right.
This is true. Guys. My wedding anniversary is next weekend.
Oh, hey. Yeah, your wedding anniversary is always around. It's WrestleMania weekend every year, isn't it?
Yeah, so
that's
she must love that.
Sorry to her.
You're like, hey, I love you. Happy anniversary. We can never go away on our anniversary weekend.
Hey, happy anniversary. I'm going to go watch wrestling for the next 7 hours. See ya.
We can go the week before,
if
the week
WrestleMania
after.
ends up going to... You're in Michigan, right?
No, I'm in Indiana. Don't put that evil on me.
If they're ever near Indiana, it's like, hey... present, WrestleMania.
Nice. They're never around. They'd have to come to like Chicago probably, or Detroit, I guess would be the. Yeah. Well, they're going to Cleveland for SummerSlam.
It's not terribly far.
So I'm just thinking of the big. I'm pretty central, so just big stadiums in an area. But yeah,
you guys get it all the time. No need to rub it in.
Look at that.
6 years.
If he's watching wrestling and I read, it's actually so what we did last year on our anniversary was quite nice. We just stayed home. We didn't do anything. We actually were like, we'll just stay home. We ordered a bunch of food. We just hung out. We sent the kids to the grandparents and literally just like binge watch TV. And it was wonderful. So who knows? Maybe we'll do that again. And I'll just have to make sure I buy her a ton of books.
What's it like having someone who loves you?
Yeah.
Listen, it has its pluses and its minuses. No, just
get a room.
We have plenty of rooms, JPJ. And we use all.
I was going to ask.
Listen. I may not be physically up to par, but my mouth still works.
Show.
This
is a PG show.
We're not on Netflix yet, but I can tell you.
Is this a PG show? Are we not allowed to talk about that stuff?
No, we are, because
we can't talk about Raw because that was very TV-14.
It was. Did you guys think that CM Punk was referring to
oral fixation? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh,
talking about. Would you like me to say it in like naughty terms, or do you want me to be sophisticated?
Was it cunnilingus? Was he talking about there?
He was talking about eating out April, right?
Yeah, I think so. We can say that, right? We're not going to get kicked off
back
the
here
air, are
just
we?
aren't for her show.
Well, I
say
just
that?
said it, so you can blame on me, but
Those
whatever.
belts back there aren't just.
Well, okay, okay.
Jesus, Mrs.
Whoa,
Take it easy.
Mrs. Pluggo!
You ever
No
seen
wonder
the
you got
Shawn,
8
the
Christmas
Shawn,
trees.
the
God
Shawn
bless.
Michaels? That's I do that all the time with these because they're smaller.
What is
belts.
going on here?
Whoa!
Jeez Louise,
Wow,
God.
hubba hubba.
But yeah, he
WrestleMania season,
said
baby. Everybody's feeling it. Everybody's feeling it.
Punk
WrestleMania.
said, if I'm not mistaken, he walks out. He goes, "Yeah, everybody wants to know what I'm doing WrestleMania. I may not physically be able to compete, but my mouth still works. April knows what I'm talking about. That's 100%.
Then he made the Netflix. Reference.
He eats it. He eats.
Oh, yeah.
That's what he's
Well,
saying.
first
Yeah.
of all, everyone
Punk-
should. Don't be selfish.
I have
everyone
absolutely
But-
no idea what's that like. Drew would probably relate.
You know, we don't have to get into
Wait
it.
a minute. Wait
I
a minute.
mean, listen, the mouth
it-
can
if
go
it
elsewhere.
makes-
It doesn't
if it
have to
makes-
just be.
If
Plenty
it
of other
makes you,
places,
if
but-
it makes you guys
Wait a minute.
feel any
We're
better,
going
we
off the
don't.
rails.
We don't know what the opposite of that is like either.
Well, a lot of we're not going to get into this debate, but
Yeah.
Anyway.
But yeah,
it's
definitely,
way too
definitely.
X-rated.
Yeah, see, look at that. She said she's really just overexcited. She was just telling me that Josh could read a nutritional label from a soup can and she would be smitten.
oh hell
she
yeah!
likes Josh's accent. She likes
She
the way he
loves
talks.
Josh.
So annoying. I can get women to love me, but a man will not love me.
Hey, Mrs. Pluggo, maybe you
Those
can
men are shit,
convince.
Doug.
Maybe you can convince Josh and JPJ to invite me on a stream once in a while, so we can have more Josh in our life.
Here we
Look
go.
at-
Here we go.
Listen,
Here we go.
That is. Listen, I am privileged that Josh invites me on as much as he does, but that is Josh's channel. I'm not inviting.
I know.
anybody on
Josh is saying that Pluggo is not
Without-
good enough.
without. He threw an open invite to everybody. Plug.
One time, once.
Open
What?
invite.
Oh, how
And,
many?
and I will say that was before I joined Love Wrestling. You guys were doing
No,
that.
you-
Oh,
Yeah.
Drew's been with Love Wrestling for like over a year.
No, it was in January.
Lou.
Okay.
Yeah, Lou just
Let me go
was
hide.
knocking.
The only.
Lou was
Hey.
knocking.
Hey,
Hey, he's in a Josh shirt.
I just want to state for the record.
There
I
you
just
go.
want to state for the record. Look right there. That is a Josh Robinson shirt that I am wearing in my
Mrs. Pluggo finds
favorite
you a
profile
man.
picture ever. Okay.
Sure, Mrs. Plugger, I'll take whatever. Not whatever, but well, actually, whatever.
Man, this show has been a good one. This has been a good one. This has
Does
been
your
one of the funner
mouth?
episodes
Does your
we've had.
mouth work?
Mine.
Wow.
I don't think we have to ask about that. It does.
Yeah.
Okay. I just
Quite
thought of
well.
all the things he could have went. He was like, my mouth works just fine, April.
Yeah.
I liked it. I liked it. I was like, "Ooh, adult humor. All right, good, good.
Sexual innuendos.
Yes, I love
I've
it.
had
People-
sex. I can relate.
Grown-ups have sex? No way. Come on, that's not real. Is it true that if
We
you
love
don't
to have
use
fun.
it, you lose it? Anyway,
It is.
Did
Is
you
that
see
a-
what
is that a
Rebel
real
Wilson said,
question?
everyone? Here's a nice
No, I
little
didn't.
tie-in. Rebel Wilson didn't lose her virginity until she was 35.
is that true?
She said that in her book.
Wow.
Well,
Good for her.
respect.
So,
Wow.
all you 35.
Good for her, or is that a
it's
good? Like,
okay.
I don't know. Which, is that good or bad? Like,
Well, she
I
said
don't
it's
think- How
okay
did
to
she-
wait.
Okay, was
Yeah,
she
she said
the
it's okay to
context?
wait.
Was it good or bad for her?
Yeah, she said it's okay. She said you don't have to wait as long as I did. I'm paraphrasing, but it's nice to tell young people that there's no pressure.
Yeah,
Do
there's
what
no
you
rush. There's no rush. Just do
Imagine
it when
being
you feel it.
35 though and finishing in 20 seconds because you've never. Well.
Well, you don't know the person she did it. Well, the person she did it with might not have been.
Imagine being 38 and finishing in 20 seconds. I mean,
Yeah, wow, yeah, 28 and
Yeah.
like whatever.
I mean, I last for
English.
a long. You think
That
Monday
could
Night Raw
never-
is long?
That could never.
I don't know.
Am I-
Sometimes just get to
What?
the end goal and let's go and have
a beer.
make some eggs.
Let's have
You
a
know
beer.
what I mean?
Yeah,
Like,
let's make a
Mrs.
snack.
Pluggo, help me
I'm the
out
best.
here. I need you to
All
tell me.
right. Well,
it's gone off the fucking chain. What the fuck?
sex talk with B2B
Yeah.
for the last,
Yeah.
whatever.
This is,
No, but
this
the
is
reason
exactly
we got
the type
here.
of showing.
Between two
Yeah,
beers
right. It's
after
Thursday
dark,
night.
baby.
Who cares? It's 9:30.
The boss is busy tonight because
me,
there's a
yeah,
clandestine.
11 it's 11:53 on a Friday for me, and I'm talking about
That-
this stuff. Like, well,
There you
Yeah.
go. There you go.
Spencer's
3:30 it's
busy with Love
3:30
Wrestling
or
stuff.
2:30 in the morning in England. It's nighttime.
yeah, that's
But so CM Punk says that he comes out to cut a promo. That's what happened.
This is Pluggo. Jeez.
Yeah, I can only imagine. How
I could
strategic-
elaborate if you need me to, but
No,
yeah.
we don't have to go into details.
It's okay.
We don't have to go
It's
into
okay,
details.
Pluggo.
But you have 4 children.
Yeah.
You have 4 children.
Yeah.
I can imagine how strategic the planning needs to be.
It's got
You know, that's all we have to. I don't need a response.
January
it's,
19th.
it's very, I'll say this, it's very hard to strategically
Odd.
plan spontaneity. So you're just like,
Oh, yeah.
will this work?
Yeah.
Yeah.
January 19th at 4
Now,
p.m. I'll see you then.
No,
that
it's just more,
prevents
it's more like,
spontaneity then, right?
we're
Does it
like-
prevent it.
we're like,
If you
okay,
know.
he's down, he's watching TV, he's out, let's run. We'll do our thing. We got to be quick because if like we're gone too long, they get suspicious. There's nothing more derailing than a knock at the door. We're busy.
Yeah, fair.
Pluggo.
I thought
Pluggo
you were
has-
sleeping. Go away.
Pluggo has as many human children as we 3 collectively have pet children.
It's true.
Yeah, that's actually true.
And I also have 2 cats.
Mine is literally right back here. You see him? See him
I
moving
know.
around here?
Kitty's over there. Well, you can see Kitty. She's right on camera.
Oh wow!
right
Can we
there.
have a? Can we have? Oh, Lou. Hi.
Mine
what's going
are
on?
Look over
behind
here.
the shut door, so they're not coming.
Exactly.
So does that mean I'm winning, Drew, or am I? What does that mean? What do you?
Well, I gave birth to Kitty though. She's my biological daughter. So, yeah.
Okay.
And how is that not national news across the world?
I don't need to brag.
Yeah.
I'm already famous enough.
This is true.
I know. So, this is the modern day Mary Magdalene right here.
That's true.
I will
don't
say.
understand
I
that
will
reference.
say this: the viewer count did jump.
It is
up.
Easter week, so
based
might as well
on
throw
the
out
sex
religious
bomb.
jokes.
There you go.
What'd you say, Pluggo?
I said the views have risen since
Oh,
started talking
to have
about
more
my
sex.
my
Sex is money,
my,
bro.
my
Sex is
married
money.
sex
Let's be
life.
real. Sex makes money. That's what it is.
The
Sex
views
is
have
money.
risen like he will.
Budget
I'm not
for the
married,
show should
so I
now
don't-
be higher because of how much money we're bringing in. So.
It's
That's
true.
true.
It's true.
Spencer is so busy this weekend when he stumbles across this podcast on like
He's gonna be
Monday.
like, "What the
He's gonna
fuck?"
be like, well, that was,
He's gonna be like, now what do you spent 20 minutes talking
Who's-
about
whose mouth works and what? Where?
Yeah, what?
Josh gave
What?
birth to a cat. What the?
Yeah.
Yeah, he'll probably go. Well, that makes sense.
Yeah. No,
No,
it all
that's-
checks out, really.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay,
All
guys.
right, so
well,
Drew McIntyre,
Bitches.
CM Punk, Drew McIntyre, Seth Rollins, they had themselves a segment on Monday. It was the highest rated segment of the whole show.
the feet
Oh,
picked
God.
up too. That's a
Perfect.
four. That's
All right,
it.
listen. I love Mrs. Pluggo.
Yeah.
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 Okay.
Bro.
I do too.
She's trying to keep that vibe going right now. She's trying to make that. I think she's
What
trying to make
She
the rest of the show
knows
a
because
PG
she knows
show.
that we will all continue talking about
Yes.
it for the next.
What do you guys
She's
think I'm
antagonizing
doing
right
in
now.
about 25, 30 minutes?
Well, hey, good for you, bro. First of all, 35 minutes, man. Mad.
Thursday night special, baby.
Oh, hello.
Jesus.
Din dins.
This is not okay. This is not
Them
okay.
kids better be. in
Let's talk
bed.
about. See, this conversation was a bit like the one Punk, Drew, and Seth was because it was just a bunch of words just being thrown out, and I love it.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. There was no. I thought I saw a report on Bleacher Report today that it was CM Punk was unscripted. I think.
I think
kinda
they
let
all
him go,
were
okay.
because it was
They
very.
sound-
Yeah, and
they
they
all
let 'em
sound
do their
unscripted,
thing.
Really.
It was
Which
good
is
though,
good,
like in
that's
a good way. It
refreshing.
was messy in a good way.
Yes, like it was. It
You're
was.
just what
It
you
felt-
need to
Three
get to
dudes
just
that
get
just don't
there.
like each other. You know what I mean?
Yes.
It was a good
Yeah.
time.
And I think part of the not liking each other might, part of that is real. I think part of that is
Sure.
real there too, which probably adds to it a lot. Like you,
It's just.
I
I think
believe-
it's like they kind of don't get along, but it's like turned up to like 400. You know what I
Exactly.
mean?
Exactly. Like the way that Seth Rollins was looking at CM Punk at the end of that promo where he was just staring at him and he just walked by him and like I was looking at that going, yeah, that guy really doesn't like
No,
CM Punk.
no.
Does not like that guy at all. The way he was looking at him, I was like, if he wasn't a professional, they would be fighting right now. He would be not thrilled. And I just thought,
Some of those quips that he threw at Drew.
oh yeah,
Who named you the chosen one? That
CM Punk.
that line.
Who named it?
I was like,
who named you that? I was like, oh shit. I was like, wait, they go, what? Do you think they talked to him after that? They were like, bro, you pushed it. You pushed it.
And then he mentioned Cornette's podcast.
Oh, yeah, I was
It's like,
like, oh.
damn,
Yeah,
Punk,
that wasn't great.
you're just
was
trying
like,
to
Punk.
the people they don't want you talking about. You're just like, I'm going to talk about it today. Very, very.
It was a
Ad-
good time, that segment.
Yeah.
Though. It was just like a
Yeah.
bunch of children just like being like, I hate you. I hate you
Exactly.
more.
Yeah. Seth
It was
saying
great,
like,
though.
you know what? Yeah. Seth's just going, you know what, CM Punk? Like, I don't even think of you at all. I don't even think of
This
you
is
at all.
wholesome. Oliver said to like and subscribe.
All right,
on
there you go.
podcasts. My
There
son.
you go. Listen to Oliver.
Listen to Oliver. Like and subscribe. Oliver, if you're listening, go to bed early tonight.
God, I hope Oliver's not listening.
Yeah, hold on.
Yeah, hello.
I will say this. I love this new and improved Drew McIntyre. I did though find some of his we're still a little cheeseball. I want him to he's one I want to see him turn it up just a little bit more because it's like I don't know if this is you in real life. I don't know if you're an asshole in real life like Seth and Drew or Seth and Punk can be, but like it's there and I know he's doing good work and I just want to see him win one of these like roast battles. Because it's hard to go against Punk and Seth in a roast off here. So
I think he held his own.
He did. I don't know if he won. I want to see him win.
I don't know if anyone. I don't know. It was just like
it was just chaotic. It was They were saying all
this.
this.
Don't film up my kilt all the time,
dude. And it's like McAfee. Don't look up my kilt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
he called him a perv.
Drew had a great line though about he mentioned the bicep thing. That was pretty good. Even Punk was like, okay, that's a good one.
Yeah, the rehab.
Oh, the rehab line.
The rehab line was solid.
Yeah.
I was like, oh,
and
you're all straight edge, but all you do is spend time in rehab. That is a really good line.
That's a great line.
Drew's social media game is like
he went to Mindy's.
Yeah. He went to Mindy's earlier in the day.
Oh, I was hoping so badly that he was going to come out with the Mindy's box.
All he needs.
I think that's what he was going to do. I think he was going to do that on Raw if they were open, but he went there and they were closed on Mondays and Tuesdays, and he was like, But
what kind of business is closed on Mondays and Tuesdays?
Yeah. It was just such good stuff, and I thought CM Punk's last line was a good one too, where he was like, hey, I'm going to do at WrestleMania, I'm going to be on commentary and I'm going to do what this company's been trying to do at YouTube for the last 10 years and has not been able to make you both interesting. And then he just left. And it's like,
and he did like,
all right, obviously,
no,
open the door.
No, I opened it.
Oh, all right. Comes
hey,
Lou just grew human hands.
I was going to say Lou grew human hands in the time that
Lou grew a voice too.
Lou claws at the door, and then he'll start crying if I don't open the door.
Everyone thinks that's Mrs. Poulin Jr. No, that was Lou being like, I opened the door.
You bitch. I live on my own, so like all the doors are open.
JPJ lives in a Pixar movie.
I do.
Lou's a real person.
Coming. There he is.
Lou!
Oh,
yeah!
and what I talked about now, we're just getting Lou's backside on this. Is
he was like, "Hey, I heard some talk in here earlier. Here's I'm here. I'm ready."
I don't mean this in a nasty way. I mean this in a fun way. But Lou is such a chunky beast.
Oh,
he is a chunky boy.
Hi. Hey, Bob.
He's watched your stream so many times, didn't realize there was a
door. Oh, you're laying down right there, Bub. That's okay. Yeah, you can do that. Yeah. Okay.
Oh, I can't talk about my skills, but JPJ can pet his on screen.
Are you referring to a pussy?
There you go. I don't know if we can say that here or not.
I did.
Josh Robinson unhinged, baby, bringing it back.
When am I not?
Listen, my personal life, I say that word very liberally. So.
Oh yeah, I'm
tame
on here compared to what I'm like. I'm an Australian, so like every second word is the C word.
Lou's
so,
Lou has plopped down. Lou is joined.
We're like the only nation that's like that's a bad thing to say. Everybody else in the world.
Yeah, Americans are Americans.
Wait,
no offense to all three of
the
you.
the C word.
Oh, no, there's no offense
talking
taken.
about that?
America is just like the
I know that's a word we cannot say.
Americans are off. Totally.
But if
we actually say that in public, like that's just like a normal. It's the value of that word is just gone here because we just say it so leisurely.
And like I always say every week when we go off the rails here, if you'd like to, donate to the Swerge, our super chats are open and available, and your comment or statement will get read on air. And Spencer will be less likely to yell at us. If
I know
we
that
say, hey,
Pluggo usually jokes every week as well that this is going to be our last show, but tonight might actually be our
Yeah.
last show
Could
It
be.
would be my fault too.
with the nature of no. I'm just,
We-
the
Well,
nature of
that's
the
fine.
show.
You- that's
with a
fine.
bang.
And just to tie it all back, you two can go off and do
True.
streaming magic together, and I'll just sit here.
Yeah, and I say the C word sometimes on my stream.
Do you?
American
Nice.
Trump. No, I do. And
And they get
sometimes
mad?
I am pro.
I
am
think
pro
it's
that word. By the way, it's just you can't say.
I remember the
I
first
won't say
time
it on camera, but yeah, I may say it.
First
once or
time
twice
I
a week.
ever said it, I was a kid. I didn't know what it meant, and I called
you
called my sister that,
Oh,
and my mom looked at me and goes, "What the did you just say?" And I was like, "I don't know this," and she's like, "You never, ever say that ever again." And I was like, "Okay," like I still I was like, "Why?" And she's like, "I'm not talking about it, but you just don't talk like that." It scared the shit out of me, so I don't say it now.
Yeah, I remember
You know,
my
a
mom.
cigarette
screamed at me the
is
first time.
called something different in Britain. That's
Yeah.
a slur in
It's
many,
called that
many
here
other
too.
places in the world.
it's called that here too.
Oh, is that
Yeah.
true? Oh,
Mhm. It's
Yeah.
it's an F word. Mhm.
It is. It is. Yeah, and Scott, you are right. This is a TV MA edition of Between Two Beers.
Yeah, I feel like I could have a whole show where I just talk about sex things, and
I would do
I would
it.
be fine with it.
Josh Robinson talking sex.
Yeah,
Live.
for someone that isn't getting that much of it
lose.
right now, I'm sure can talk about it a lot. Lol. Do you get it? It's because I'm lonely.
yeah.
Do you understand?
Yeah.
Hey
the joke here?
Josh, are you okay? Blink,
Do not.
blink,
Do not. Don't
Blink.
do that.
blink twice if you're okay, Josh. He's not blinking, guys.
he hasn't even blinked.
Hasn't blinked once, actually.
He's still. He's
I
still
haven't blinked this whole
blinking.
time because I knew you're gonna ask it.
Can we get Josh laid, please? Somebody out there.
Well, I get laid enough. Well,
You
I
just
mean,
said
no
you
one gets
weren't
laid
having
enough,
it.
but I
Which
mean,
one
like-
is it?
No,
Are
no,
you
no, no, no. But hold on. What I want is companionship.
Yeah,
guys.
yeah.
I'm-
Oh,
I am-
okay.
Josh wants a part. He wants to find a partner.
Can we
Yeah.
get
Oh,
somebody
I
to
loathe
talk
that
to
word.
Josh?
Is that weird? We're not going to
Partnership?
get into that.
You don't like
partner?
you don't like partner?
No, it just like
Yeah,
I don't
what
know.
do you-
I
Josh-
feel weird when I say that.
Josh wants a man. Josh
Yeah, I
wants
want a nice big doodle. What?
beefy man. He wants a nice big beefy
This,
man.
this is
Listen.
when.
Oh,
This
what?
is when
Here's
big
a fun
doodle.
fact.
What's a
Okay.
doodle? A doodle like a dude, but you just say doodle?
dick, doodle, dick, cock, wiener.
I've
penis.
never. I'll be 38
What?
next month. I have never
Doodle?
heard anybody
That's
refer
like
to the
That's what
as
I
a
used to
doodle.
call it when I was like young. It was
Never?
a doodle.
A
Like,
doodle?
a doodle is what I called it when I was a kid because like you didn't want to say like dick.
I mean, yeah,
So,
no,
like, you-
nobody above the age of 11.
No, but
says
I just was
doodle.
trying to be respectful on this stream, Obviously,
Nobody's-
this is a very, it's highbrow this stream, so I didn't want to
Yeah,
like
it's
put
very
it down by
professional
saying
here.
dick
Yeah.
or penis or something like that. I just called it
Yeah.
a doodle. But
Thank
yeah,
God
that's what I used to
Amelia's
call
not
it when
here,
I was
'cause
like
she would
5.
be-
It's
When,
like that's my
She would
doodle.
be upset.
when Jeremy and Joel and Cher Delaware used to
Oh, yes.
do the very late night streams on the Fightful Gaming channel, I was on there once with them, and then Josh popped into the chat, and Jeremy and Joel were trying to hook us up.
I do remember that.
Fair.
I do remember that. I was in there and I was like, "What is going on?" It was like I didn't even know how that even happened. But then they were, and it wasn't just like, haha. It was like, no way, let's do this. I was like, no, let's just calm
Like,
down, everyone.
listen, Josh, lovely, but I was engaged already at that point. So.
Yeah. Also, you're engaged, and I'm on the other side of the fucking world.
Hey, don't worry. His doodle can extend.
Oh,
Wow.
I'm not gonna hype
I mean,
anyone
that's
up
fine.
there.
That's
no one
fine.
get too
I
excited.
mean,
would be-
what a skill
you
that
would-
would be if that could happen.
That would be.
That'd be impressive. I blame
Get it-
CM
that's
Punk
like
for
Guinness
this.
Book of
Had
World
he
Records.
had he not made it okay to talk about the explorations of his sexual life, we wouldn't be here right now.
Yeah,
Definitely
CM Punk is
testing
the
the
reason.
waters for when they get to Netflix. That's for sure. They're,
Yeah.
they
and
were that.
you know,
I think that was last night. Was like Wednesday.
Yeah.
Wednesday. Hello. Monday night was just like, hey, we got the Netflix deal
teaser.
coming in a few months. Let's see what
Try
we
it
can
out.
get away with.
Yeah.
And I mentioned it earlier, but there was another promo segment in the night with Rhea Ripley and Becky, and it wasn't as over the top as the CM Punk line or anything like that, but they started openly like discussing how Rhea Ripley can post a video or post a picture online and people go crazy. You know, they're starting to talk about like just more mature adult things and throwing things like that on screen because guess what? Like adults watch the show. So it's okay to talk about adult things occasionally.
I guess we're
adults.
I mean, we've talked about this many times, JPJ, but you would be okay with Rhea Ripley beating you up, right?
I think most people would actually.
I would.
Even me.
Particularly. Yeah. See, and that's the thing.
I would not. I'm happily married.
Mrs. Pluggo, he's lied. He
So
just
am
lied.
I.
Mrs. Pluggo, he just lied. He still loves you.
And I'm
you
not.
You are the
Hey,
belle
Rhea,
of the ball. You are the belle of the ball. But your
Rhea,
husband lied.
I'm
right
from
there.
your
So he knows a
hometown,
lot.
babes. Come beat the piss out of me. Beat me up so badly that I can't walk anymore.
I
It's
mean,
fine.
I wouldn't mind Buddy beating me, but you know that's neither here nor there.
Hello.
Oh boy. All right. Well, we're gonna end 20 minutes early tonight, guys, because this is I'm just kidding. we kicked off the.
We just got the call.
This isn't even live anymore. We're just talking.
Yeah, we already got restricted. We already got restricted.
Spencer kicked us off
We're gonna be
half
like, this
hour
is
ago.
for
We didn't even know.
mature audiences only. You are flagged. This one is flagged. No.
I'm not joking. I will say this right now, but if the three of you gentlemen ever wanted to do like a Patreon exclusive, like we do,
1000%. I would do it.
Here's after dark.
I would do it monthly.
I'm
I would do this monthly if we could make it work. I would do it.
Hey,
Patreon
if anyone,
exclusive once a
I'll
month.
talk about. I don't think I've ever talked about the two times that I've been with women in my life. Anyone want to donate some money? I'll tell them about it. It was a terrible experience.
because it's opening day, like hit a home run with women.
I wasn't very old.
2 times.
I was like, "Am I straight? Am I gay?"
Wait, 2 times? That's like one more time than me.
Oh, yeah.
And I like women. That's sad. That's sad. Oh, that's sad.
Rhea,
right,
come
JPJ's
get your man.
This is my last episode of Between Two Beards, guys. I'm gonna be.
This is mine too. I think I'm
gonna
going to
be
get kicked off
after
of
this
Love
episode.
Wrestling after this one.
We might all be fired.
Spencer's going to hate us.
All right.
He's
Anyway.
like, you guys
and then
what for an hour?
What will Blair complain about then?
No, I won't be able to invite him
be-
on anywhere.
No, he'll be
because
like,
we
"So
won't
you
have
four
anything
got
to invite
kicked
him
off."
on.
No, he'll be like, "You four got kicked off, but you couldn't kick me off."
My thing is, right?
Oh no!
So Blair came on earlier to kind of stick it to me and prove a point. And then if he turned this stream back on, he's like, they invited Drew on here immediately after I came on. What the fuck? You know what I'm saying?
And
You know
again,
what?
guess
You
who
can't-
invited him on? Me.
Yeah, you.
It was
Yeah,
Josh's
I
fault this
repeated
time. Josh's
Josh
fault
just
this
had-
time.
Pit stirrer.
Yeah, I'm just.
He had a fucking vendetta when he messaged us 20 minutes before the show tonight.
Yeah.
He had a vendetta.
How do I
Josh. He was like,
destroy? I'm destroying Love Wrestling from the inside.
Yeah. Yeah.
OG3, baby.
yeah, exactly. He knew what he was doing.
You gotta start at the flagship, work your way down. And did
That's
you
what
say
you
Tune
do.
in next Thursday when Between One Beard with Blair is
Yeah.
airs at 8 p.m.
All of a sudden, we find out that Josh has a new show airing Thursday nights at 8 o'clock on Love Wrestling, and it's like, wow. Woo!
A pilot episode, baby.
Why is
What happened?
why has my StreamYard access been restricted? What the?
What is going on?
I would be the guy from Office Space. Did you guys tell him he was fired? No, we just fixed the glitch. It just work itself out. I'm like, oh, okay.
Oh
Well,
man,
that's all right.
Good stuff.
I'm sure we could find our way to another channel.
And we
maybe.
didn't talk about the biggest thing that happened in that segment.
Which segment?
Nom
Are we
God,
still talking
nom
about
God.
rail?
Oh,
yeah. Okay. We're
Oh
still
yeah,
talking about
Dom
rail.
got fucking clocked.
Yeah, Becky clocked Dom.
She
right
got
in
him
the
too.
face. She did, right in the chin. She gave it to him. They did that
It was
slow motion
great.
replay, and it was
Gorgeous.
like, oh yeah. It was like he got it.
It was
He got
fantastic.
it. That was really good. What did you think about the promo exchange from Becky and
Oh, it was a good time.
Rhea? 'Cause Becky got emotional, started talking about her dad with her daughter.
I am on the team here that is going to sing this for the next week and a bit until WrestleMania. We know what the main event is. Let those two open WrestleMania. Let them do it.
Yeah.
I don't know if women have ever opened Mania, have they? Like, as in, like, other than that
don't think so.
pandemic, that doesn't count. I know, like, women opened the pandemic ones, but that WrestleMania is like nil and void to me. That didn't really happen. Talking
Well, you
in
know
front
what?
of, I don't think women have ever done it.
I would have the women open both nights.
Yeah, if they can't main event, I would. There's an argument somewhere. I put this out on a tweet, and some people were like, "Yeah, stupid," and I was like, "Get out of here." There's an argument that the opening the show is a hotter crowd than ending it.
Yeah.
It's
It's a
nearly
longer
a,
show. It can be.
Yeah.
and
It
like
sets the
also,
tone
like,
for the rest of
there's
the
an
night.
argument that it's a better spot sometimes than main eventing in that
Yeah.
case. So why can't
Yeah.
they open both nights of, or one night of WrestleMania? Why not?
Yeah, and Scott in the chat said that Becky has said she wants to open Mania, so I
Yeah.
think that would be.
If you're not
I-
closing, you want to be open.
Yeah, and I actually agree with what Drew said too. Like, I think that would be a good way to do it. You have Becky and Rhea open night 1, and you have Bailey and Io open night 2, or vice versa. I would have now. When you say open WrestleMania, you say they should be the first match of night 1, like the first match of the weekend.
Well, you could take that however you want, whether that's night
Yeah.
1 or night 2. But I personally think that Becky and Rhea will be on night 1. So in
Yeah.
that case, I think they should be.
You
night
should
one's
open. Yeah,
opener.
I would. I fully agree with that. I
Something
think
different,
that would be good.
and
yeah,
I don't think anyone's going to argue with me when I say that match will hump. It'll be a good time.
Oh yeah.
So why not open something really hot with two of the most over people in the company, Rhea and Becky? Why not? Fuck it.
yeah.
Let's go.
I love it. I love it. Oh God, what the hell else happened? I mean,
I don't know.
anything else you're
We got nothing to talk about if we ain't
I know,
talking about.
Sex.
yeah. I mean,
Oh, we're such adults here. Well, there's the closing of Raw. Did you talk about the closing of Raw?
Yeah, we talked
Yeah.
about that.
Oh, you didn't? Okay.
Yeah, we talked about that. Hey, here's something to talk about to round us out. I don't know. What did everyone think about what Ronda Rousey had to say?
oh.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
I will say
Let me
this.
pull up the
I will
quote.
Sorry,
say
everyone.
this. No,
No.
I
I'm doing it.
think-
wanna pull up the
Read it
quotes.
all,
I-
so I don't.
I don't disagree with the things that she said, but I also think she's saying them for. She's got a book out, right? So she's like,
Sure.
she's really
But there are
trying to
things
stir
in
the
her
pot.
book.
Yeah, there's
Also,
things in her book, and I don't
It's
disagree.
weird because like I guess I could say that I'm not the biggest fan of her as a human being,
Right.
but also what she's saying, I don't disagree,
Right.
Because I do think that those
It's
people are
weird.
pieces of crap,
Yeah.
but also a piece of crap knows a piece of crap,
Right.
myself included. But like, it's a bit like, but still like and then like what Becky said about Ronda and stuff like that too, like how she's like she couldn't wrestle. Everyone just thought she could because of that great first match she had. But it's different because you don't just learn how to wrestle in one match,
Yeah.
which I don't necessarily disagree.
No, her run was like, I thought her first run was fine, night and day between that and the second one.
Oh, the
Oh,
second
the second
one.
one was
Second one was just
Garbage.
god awful.
dismal.
But
From
I,
the
you know,
moment she come back, it was just like, oh, okay. And like what Becky said in that interview was, again, I'm paraphrasing. I'm not going to say exactly how she said it, but she basically said she was off to the races and then she couldn't do it, but it wasn't necessarily her fault. It was from a booking standpoint. She wasn't booked correctly.
Yeah.
But yeah, she said a lot of stuff about her, time in WWE, how much she doesn't like certain individuals, which I don't disagree with. But also, she believes in a lot of things that aren't great.
mhm.
So,
questioning certain horrific things that have happened, claiming them to be a hoax. Kind of, and I will not mention those things, but I think you
No.
know what I'm talking
Not a vibe, not a good vibe.
No.
Yeah. So I've never really been a fan of her either, but sometimes I like saying this phrase now because it is really true. Sometimes, a broken clock is right twice a day. So
Sure. Also, I don't think there's any, no matter how you feel about Ronda Rousey, there's no denying the amount of star power she once had. She does not have that anymore.
Yeah.
I don't think she had that at all during her 10 years in WWE. I think the flame on the candle was burnt out. The wick was gone. But she was huge for women's sports.
it
Well,
was
yeah,
there
yeah.
when she had the tag match with that moment with The Rock in the
Sure,
tag
she
match,
was
but
still
that moment
in-
in the Rock with
The
The
couple
Rock.
years
And
before,
Yeah,
yeah.
she was still in the UFC. She got knocked out, and the illuster kind of like
that
went
was it.
away.
yeah.
Because she would have, she would have stayed in the UFC had she not got knocked out,
Yeah.
and then got
Conor
knocked
McGregor-
out.
She
a
got
couple-
knocked, where did she get knocked out? Australia. It was great.
Holly Holm. I mean, up until Conor McGregor beat her, Ronda Rousey was the most lucrative draw for UFC for a long time. Until McGregor kind of took that over years down the line. But like, she was an absolute megastar. You wanted to watch Ronda Rousey fight, and her fights lasted 30 seconds, if that. She was destroying people left and right. She was the biggest women's sports star in the world at one point. And
But the problem
take
was
that
that
away,
by the
you know.
time she got to wrestling, she was no longer that.
she was not.
And she tried to still claim that she was. And I'm like, it's like when, certain actors do movies and they still proclaim that they're the biggest movie star in the world. It's like, you were in 2005, but you're no longer that anymore. It
I
doesn't.
don't know though
doesn't
if
feel
that
like-
was necessarily. I don't know if that was necessarily her or if that was Vince.
I think it was a mixture of both.
Because they were calling her the baddest woman on the planet. It's like, well, the baddest woman on the planet got knocked out in 15 seconds. So maybe not.
Yeah.
And
But that was the problem of that's a booking problem, like what Becky was saying. I guess that was a booking problem of like claiming her to be this thing when she's no longer this thing anymore. And I think you could more so feel that in the second run than in the first run. That second run was abysmal. She was not having good matches. She didn't really have that star quality. Like, they booked her to wrestle Charlotte at WrestleMania and stuff like that. And I think a lot of people hate on Charlotte, which is not what I do, but a lot of people hate on Charlotte. But there was so many people like, thank God Charlotte won that match because we did not want Ronda to win at WrestleMania and she didn't. You know what I mean? Like, that's saying something when the internet wants Charlotte Flair to win something.
Ronda's face is on my Extreme Rules chair from 2022. And I was like, you listen.
So Ronda gets the
Can I
pleasure.
not take? I mean, I took the chair because it was the first pay-per-view I ever went to, but I was like, I don't want her face on here.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Chair's very comfortable though, I have to say. But
the chairs we got at Elimination Chamber were garden chairs. It was odd.
Thick padding on them. It's very, very comfortable.
Well, you just have like plain white garden, like those.
We had all and I was fairly close. I wasn't in the upper echelons where they had proper chairs, but we just had like lawn chairs.
Fair.
Fuck Perth. Sorry, I just had to say that. I hated Perth. The time was not. I hated that city with all my heart. No offense, Perthanans. They don't even get proper internet over there.
Saying no offense there. You're not. You don't.
I mean, I'm one to talk. I'm from Adelaide. It's like, throwing shit at shit, but like Perth is a horrid city. I didn't like that time. I liked the time, but I didn't like the city. Never again will I go to that city. WWE, if you ever come back to this country, I'm begging you, do not go to Perth. Go to anywhere else in this country. There's plenty of other stadiums that are much nicer and much bigger than Optus Stadium. Trust me.
We're gonna clip that and send it directly to Paul Lefebvre.
Do it. That's fine by me.
Hunter, listen to this gentleman. He is true.
He knows what's up.
How you feeling about the build to EO and Bailey? Josh, I know no secret that Bailey is my favorite. Been my favorite for a long time. How do you feel the build has been to that? I there are some people I'm kind of I've enjoyed it because I enjoy the people in it, but I do feel like it feels like it's kind of.
I think they did the turn a little too soon. I think the turn should have happened maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
And it felt really hot. That turn and that segment was like good. Amazing. It was really well done. And then you peak at that, and then like, what can you really do after that? There's only so many things you can do. The Dakota stuff was really cool, but there's been a lot of like just stalling in between those big things. I feel like if you did that a little bit in the last few weeks, have been like that happened, and then you had a couple of weeks, and then Dakota turned, and then you have WrestleMania, it would feel a lot more hot. But it's also on SmackDown, and everything that's not the Bloodline, Rock, Cody, Seth stuff on SmackDown is very much buried underneath the surface. So it's a little bit of a just a consequence of that, I guess you could say. So I think it's still been good, and I think they will kill it at WrestleMania.
Oh yeah.
They have a really good story and stuff like that. The story's obviously been going for so long, and then you add in the Bianca Belair stuff and Naomi and all the other stuff that's going on in there. You have a recipe for a pretty good time at WrestleMania. But yeah, that's just the turn happened. It felt like that feels like months and months and months ago now, but it really was only 6 weeks ago. But like that feels like so long ago that you did it. The SmackDown after.
Isn't this also, if I'm not mistaken, one of the first years that we haven't had like some random like roadblock thrown in the mix before Mania? It was like it's a nice good build from Chamber to now. I feel like
I personally think it should be Rumble then Mania with no pay-per-view in between. That's just my opinion. I'm not complaining because I got to go to one, but like I don't think there should be a show in between. I think you should just let the matches build to WrestleMania because they do big Raws now. They do big SmackDowns where there's like big matches, so you can still do those in between. But I don't necessarily think there should be a pay-per-view in between, but that's just my opinion.
I was gonna say, so then how do you decide who gets to face the other champion? Because
you can do that on Raw. Why can't you? Why can't you have a Chamber on Raw?
Yeah, find a venue big enough, make it happen. Yeah, they've restructured it. Yeah, you could do that.
Or like, why can't you have like a battle royal or like a gauntlet match? There's so many other ways to get there by just having, because I think everyone's problem with Elimination Chamber was a lot of these matches are just like happening outside of the two chambers.
Yeah, they were very predictable.
So there wasn't you know what I mean? Like the February pay-per-view in between Rumble and Mania historically has always been that show. No matter how great some of these matches are and how great some of these events feel, they're always going to be that show because you're like, well, this person's not going to win because we know this is coming up to WrestleMania, so we're just stalling because that's what it is. So why not just stall on Raw? All on SmackDown and have these matches in between. That's just my opinion, but I mean, I'm not complaining. I got to go to a stadium show
in Perth.
But like that would be an interesting thing for WWE to take from AEW if they take anything. If you're like, oh, you got AEW big business. You got Winter is Coming. You got
NXT does that a lot too.
They do that with NXT. I was gonna say, NXT
they do
does
that,
Heatwave and Halloween. They do that more on NXT where it's just a regular Tuesday night show, but it's
Monday Night Hog Wild.
Yeah, it's one of those things. Halloween Havoc, so that
they did Day One Raw and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like they did Day One Raw and they loaded that shit up. And like, why can't we have? I'm not saying I think the pay-per-view number or the premium live event number that WWE do now is way less than what they used to. They were pumping out pay-per-views every 2 weeks at one stage, I feel. But like, it's way less now. I feel like we have 11, maybe 10 pay-per-views a year now. And that's like that's pretty small compared to what they used to do. So I feel like we're at a pretty good number. And WWE are doing majority international shows now, which is just the best. Sorry, Americans.
Yeah, that's wild.
But like you got to remember, like, so they had from Rumble through to I think SummerSlam, like 70 or 80% of the shows are international. Like you had Australia, like with Perth just now, then you got France, Berlin, Germany.
They did Puerto Rico. One.
Like they just have a lot more international. They just have a lot more international shows than they don't now, which is a good thing because they always claim that they're like, we're international, but they never do anything outside of house shows. So I feel like that's a good thing. It's better for on television because you have hotter crowds because they're not getting them every fight. I can tell you it was an open air stadium, so maybe it was a little bit harder to hear, but like Perth was hyped. We were loud as all hell because we don't get it ever. So more of them. And I'm not saying they should, come to Australia every month, but I'm just saying more international shows, the better. I don't think any of you guys are complaining to watch a hot crowd in France. You know what I mean?
No, I think that's something we always talk about how hyped the crowds are on these international shows and how kind of it's like real nice. I think the Perth one, it was still good pops, but it didn't come across on the screen. That's why when you told us when you came on how big they really were, but they were still pretty.
They were huge. I mean, it was an open air stadium. You know what I mean? So it's a little bit harder, and it was also very hot. They're coming here in February. That's our summer. And Perth is a hot place. Like it's a hot place. So at 5 p.m. Perth time, it's very humid and it's very hot. So, you know, the energy gets sucked out of you a little bit when it's 40 degrees
course.
Celsius and it's, 89% humidity. So it's not great in that aspect, but that's what you get when you go to Perth, huh? So UFC's going to Perth in August too. So apparently Perth has a lot of money to spend on it.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, whoever's in charge down there, they're obviously like, hey, we want these people.
Australian government.
I like the international shows because I get to watch wrestling earlier and enjoy the rest of my day.
Yeah,
that's how I get to watch wrestling all the time. I watch wrestling at 9 a.m. It's fantastic.
There are benefits to it. You know what I mean? Like, I don't mind a good afternoon wrestling show. The one in Perth was at 5 a.m. It was like, okay, you got to wake up early and watch this thing. And like, yeah, there are some people, like if you live where Josh is, he's watching it in the afternoon. If you live in England, if you want to watch Raw live, you have to stay up till 2:00 in the morning to watch. And that's the start of Raw, or 1:00, whatever it is. It's late. So I think, and again, I don't want to beat a dead horse. It's a very North American way of thinking to be like, oh,
Americans being a little ignorant. Is that doesn't sound normal?
You don't think of it that way because you watch Raw. I watch Raw. I've been watching Raw my whole life. It started at 9 p.m. back in the day, and then now it's 8. That's what I think. But when you think of it that way, like, oh, people from England, if they're diehard wrestling fans like I am and want to watch this live, they're literally staying up till 4 in the morning.
I would never do that.
Well, I would never. And I love wrestling. I would not do that.
Here, if it's a UK show or it's a, whatever, European show, that's what time it is for me. It's like 2 a.m. for me. So I will watch it when I wake up. But that's not to say if it was all the time, I would probably be a night owl and I'd stay up all night all the time and watch wrestling.
Yeah. So like when you think about it that way and you're like, okay, well, like the rest of the world has to watch it whenever they can due to scheduling and stuff like that. We're the ones that it doesn't start.
But you got to remember it. I think this is a blanket rule when people are like, they should do WrestleMania in the UK or WrestleMania in Australia. It will never happen because of the time zone. The time zone will never allow it. Maybe a SummerSlam, maybe something like that, but it will never, ever happen because of the time zone, because they want to at prime American time and then the rest of the world catches up. They're not going to do a WrestleMania where it airs at 12 p.m. or a WrestleMania where it airs at 5. That's not going to happen. WrestleManias will always be held in North America, in my opinion. That means anything, but you ain't seeing a WrestleMania in London ever, in my opinion. A SummerSlam though, sure.
Yeah, that'd be fun. That'd be fun. I'd be all for it. But I love the international shows. The crowds are hot, and the more the merrier for me. Like, don't get me wrong, I love going to pay-per-views, but I live 30 minutes from Boston. I get plenty of opportunities to go see WWE if I want.
Boston.
Let the people that don't get the opportunities get some opportunities more often to go see it, because that's fun. And that's when you do get that crowd in Puerto Rico last year. Was the best crowd on any show that I watched, that any wrestling company was there for. They were waiting 20 years for that show, and they acted like they were waiting 20 years for that show. And that moment of Bad Bunny walking down the crowd for his entrance is one of the all-time great wrestling moments to me, and it was because of that crowd. Is that a cat or is that a kid?
That is my cat. Yeah,
that's your cat.
Is that a cat or is that a kid?
Yeah,
but to be fair, I don't know. I'm not sure.
You gotta ask. But yeah. All right. Well, on that note, wow, this was a fun one that went everywhere. This was good.
What the fuck?
Oh man, we talked about everything. I'm not even gonna run through it all. But Josh, thank you for popping in, asking us to be on. Pluggo and I were just gonna roll a two-man show tonight, but this turned into a really good time.
And if I would have started talking about
too earlier, we had
a 5-star.
Yeah, maybe
that's too many in my opinion. But let's not.
Even though,
at what point do you just say orgy?
Well, I feel like any more than 2 is an orgy, right?
What's the?
Yeah.
No. Okay.
I would say 5.
The Hawks have our number, bro. The Hawks have our number. Just right before the playoffs is really when you want to start losing games, when you've been the most dominant team all year. Anyway,
Yeah, you
Thanks,
do.
Josh, for being here. Drew, thanks for coming. Josh, thanks for inviting
I
Drew.
invited Drew. This is the end of my show.
Yeah.
Thank you, Josh,
Pluggo,
for inviting
I
me.
assume you invited Blair,
No worries.
so thanks for inviting Blair, even though he owes me an apology. That's fine.
You owe him an apology.
Maybe. I don't know. We'll figure it out. I'm never apologizing. I'm from Boston. But so I appreciate everybody that popped in here. I appreciate everybody in the chat. This was a fun one. We'll start with Drew and we'll work our way around. Let the people know where they can find you and what you got coming up this week. We do not have an episode of Firmly AEW this week because it is the holiday. So there is not an episode of that this week. But Drew, let the people know where else they can find you this week.
Yes. You can find me at the Drew Nicholas on Twitter. You can find me at the Roundtable Pro Wrestling Podcast. You can find me not this Sunday, but every Sunday, mostly every Sunday. You know, we have times where we can't do a show for whatever reason on Firmly AEW, 10 a.m. Sunday morning.
Mm-hmm.
And I collect the super chats and humper chats for the Fightful's Collision post show with Rick, Cresta, and Iridian. Fun time there. Come join us after Collision.
Josh.
I'm just so proud. Last time Drew was on, he just said, "I don't want anybody to follow me." Bye.
That was just a gimmick. I didn't.
Oh, I know, it's awesome. I was like, "You got them all out today. We did it. I did it. I didn't interrupt his spiel."
You can find me at Josh Robinson _00 pretty much everywhere. I do shit. It's sometimes funny. It's sometimes not. I'm pretty good follow, I think. Follow me on TikTok, Twitch, YouTube.
What do you got coming up this weekend, Josh? Anything big?
Anything big? We're doing our WrestleMania simulation in WWE 2K24 that Pluggo's apparently not allowed to come on to, even though I openly invited everyone from Love Wrestling, but we won't get
not for this one.
This is special. It's WrestleMania.
It's WrestleMania. Both nights of WrestleMania simmed in WWE 2K24 because
it's our 2-year anniversary of doing this stuff.
It is.
I'd like you both to realize that the promotional tweet that I retweeted in support of said stream said, "And special guest."
Well,
so why don't you two just be honest and say Pluggo's not invited because he sucks instead of being like,
wow,
yeah.
Come on, man. Don't do
that.
See?
It's but JPJ just said it's a special, just Josh and I, because it's our 2-year.
No, I didn't say that. I just said it's WrestleMania.
Well, Pluggo, you can take it as
invite to WrestleMania.
You are allowed to come on to these, but
of course.
You just ignored the Slack message, so it's fine.
One Slack message in 2 years. I've never got to.
Anyway, we are doing a simulation stream this weekend. You can go to my Twitter and see when it is. It's 9:30 in the morning on Sunday for me, but it's like 7 p.m. Eastern time on Saturday night for you guys in the States. So twitch.tv/Josh Robinson _00. Both nights are WrestleMania because it's a week before, because there's a lot going on in WrestleMania week and we can't do it in WrestleMania week because, JPJ will be at WrestleMania and I will be away for AFL Gather Round. So, there's all that happening. I think that's everything. Yeah, pretty much. Follow my stuff on Love Wrestling too. I wrote stuff with a bunch of interviews, but I have a lot of stuff on Love Wrestling. So make sure you find it on this YouTube channel.
Mr. Pluggo.
Well, I guess you can find me not doing anything on Saturday afternoon or evening.
Just told this man that he can be on the stream.
No, it's fine. I understand. Sunday morning opposed to Saturday morning, we're going to take the Firmly AW spot and do 4 exposure because I have to work on Saturday during the day for the first time in a while. So we'll be reviewing LPW 24, which is tomorrow night on IWTV at 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Blair and I will be reviewing that and previewing the upcoming collective weekend. And then, I might have a couple other things coming on this weekend. So just, stay tuned. You never know. That's where you can find me, at Pluggo on all the socials, and then at B2B for all the other stuff that me and JPJ do here every Thursday. I don't know what I'm going to do next week. Yeah.
I might still be able to do the show, dude. I have my laptop. It might not be like in this room, but I still might be able to do it.
We'll see.
You can follow me at JPJ Loves Gaming on all social media platforms. Also on the Twitch, where we're playing a lot of baseball these days, even though I couldn't watch any today.
Yeah.
Anyway.
No, not at all. Not
Anyway,
a single inning
so
of
last
baseball on opening day.
Nope. I can go watch my Red Sox now because they're starting literally right now. But you can find me there. You can find me here every Thursday night, 8:00, with my bud right here, doing Between Two Beards. Not this Sunday because of the holiday, but like Drew said, most Sundays, firmly AEW, 10 a.m. And Pluggo, join us for the WrestleMania.
Oh, I get the pity
will you?
invite.
Yeah.
Oh,
No, not
oh.
pity. Not pity.
I see how it is.
It's not pity.
Oh,
you can join us.
Now
you can
I
join
get it.
us.
Couldn't hit me up any other point this week and be like, "What are you doing Saturday night, Pluggo?"
Oh.
You can join us for a match.
Do I get to pick the match?
You can pick the match. Oh no! Wow. All right, I was at least gonna let you pick.
Damn!
I was at least gonna let you pick the match.
You're just gonna be in the waiting room and then they'll just pop you on. Right?
He can be on the kickoff.
I was at least gonna let you.
I
wait
get
for
the
match.
Akira Tozawa kickoff classic. Yeah.
That is hilarious.
What a show tonight! I
Holy
think
shit.
isn't it?
Tonight, this is
isn't
an
it-
all-time episode. Of
Now
WWE,
I'm interested because I want to know which match you think so highly of me to be on. And I can envision it's hard. It's hard and fast. It's like match started, Pluggo. All right, it's over. Bye.
He says like 2 words, and I'm like, all right, see you. Disconnect.
That's hilarious.
And
I
I-
believe
man.
if I could be wrong here, but
that would be great.
isn't it Sue time?
It is Sue time. Thank you, everyone, for joining.
That's
We
a great
appreciate
way
you
to
all.
end.
It is. We
Shout
appreciate you all.
out.
We'll see you here next week. But like Drew just said, it is time for Sue. Everybody say hi to Sue.
Hi, Sue.
Peace out.
Hey there, PLUGGO and JPJ. It's Trent's mom, Sue, and I have a bone to pick with you. So, I understand that you guys are being real idiots and spending your entire monthly budget. You've got to be kidding me. This is not the way to be when you're trying to run a business. Your boss, Spencer, is really pissed off at you. I'm pissed off at you. You have some nerve. Get a grip. You have to control yourself. You can't just go out and spend all the money that you're making, you two beards guys. Oh no, this is coming out so stupid. Anyway, behave yourselves, or I'm gonna cut you off from watching AEW. You're no longer gonna get to know, be able to meet my son. What? Or me. I'm sorry, this is like, I don't know. Anyway, thanks so much for being fans. Watch.